presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Florida.
The City of Angels on a Saturday night. Marlins and Dodgers weekend series hits game 3 on this Saturday. Come on inside iconic Dodger Stadium. It's time for Dodger baseball, and it's Bark at the Park night. Those are not the original Dodger dogs, but there'll be lots of these here tonight. Hi, everybody. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollinsworth. Welcome to Los Angeles. For the Miami Marlins, it has been an awful 3.5 weeks. The Fish have dropped 19 of their last 23. Last night, the frustrations, all of the agony kind of boiled over in a scene late in the ball game. And let's go back and look at some of the things and the reasons it happened, and then we'll discuss why.
Well, first off, there was some frustration, no doubt about it. And this is a game right here. You see A.J. Ramos ends up in the ball game, non-safe situation, gives up a long home run to Bellinger right there. And, well, you see right there, it's a little bit of an attention getter. You'll see a little two-seam fastball up underneath those hands. And then you see Ross Stripling fire behind the back of Giancarlo Stanton. Giancarlo Stanton, very sensitive to that for obvious reasons, and certainly we all understand that as well. Bench is empty, pushing and shoving ensues, and what ultimately ends up happening is, well, let's figure out Chapter 2. Chapter 2 is tonight. We enter this ball game wondering what will happen tonight. But I'll tell you what, I mean, here's the bottom line. This Marlins team, if it wakes them up, if they feel ready to go or a little bit more fired up, you know, maybe you give a little credit to what happened last night. Not my style. I really don't know if that's what gets it going. I personally bet on Dan Straley as good as he's been right now.
And Straley, certainly the Marlins need a good start. But the offense has struggled too. Just 8 runs in this 5-game losing streak.
Right, and there's a lot of different ways of looking at that. You can say the offense needs to be better. Well, that's pretty obvious and simple. But you know what? I guess I think about it this way. If Dan Straley can go up and put zeros, maybe it allows this offense to settle in tonight. You keep this thing close, and they can start to get that thing going. I'd love to see him score 5 in the first. But like I said, when you haven't been, it's hard to bet on.
Well, we'll find out tonight. The Marlins, maybe last night stirred something up. Maybe tonight's the night they stop the snowball from rolling down the hill. Last night, JT Riddle was terrific. 2 impressive plays. Jessica Blaylock with more after this. JT Riddle looked great defensively last night. With more on that, here's Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Hey, Rich, what a week it's been for Marlins shortstop JT Riddle. 6 hits in his last 5 games, and as Rich mentioned, a couple of spectacular defensive plays last night. As far as offense goes, JT says his recent success has come down to one thing in particular.
Just get more comfortable with the plate. Their first 20-some at-bats, just trying to get comfortable. That's the whole process of learning things up here and just, learning pitchers. Like I said, I'm more comfortable now, so I feel more relaxed in the box than I did at first.
Well, JT's looked really good. And I think we've seen it early. We've seen it in spring, and we've seen it early when he came up. He didn't swing the bat as well the first time when he came up. But I think we did see the calmness in his hands, just his clock out there, his timing with everything was really good. He's looked really comfortable, and like you said, he's been swinging the bat. I think the second time coming back up, I think Pags and Frankie did a really nice job with him, trying to get a little more separation and get him back, and we've seen results.
And another thing Mattingly has said about JT Riddle, he's a calm, cool, and collected player. He doesn't get overwhelmed. Rich, so far, so good.
All right, thank you, Jess. JT Riddle looking on. The Marlins getting set to take on the Dodgers. That's an interesting scene right there. Those were the two guys that were at each other last night, and that discussion's been going on for about 2 minutes at home plate. The umpires have merely been listening to Bob Guerin and Don Mattingly, teammates with the Yankees for a few years. But last night it was Mattingly and Guerin who were jawing at each other and had to be held back from getting after each other. So that sets the tone for tonight. It looks like a conciliatory meeting. Dan Straley and the Marlins desperately need a win. Can they get it tonight here on a Saturday in Chavez Ravine? On the mound with the ball ready to go as the Dodgers and the Fish go to work here on a gorgeous LA Saturday night at Dodger Stadium. Southwest Airlines brings you Miami's lineup. D. Gordon, Christian Yelich, Marcell Ozuna, Giancarlo Stanton in the cleanup spot. How about Justin Bour? Last 5 games, 3 homers. And last night, he homered. He homered in game 1 of this series as well. JT Realmuto, the catcher. Derek Dietrich gets the start at third. JT Riddle is at shortstop. And Dan Straley will hit ninth.
Julio Urias making his 5th start of the season. You see the record, 0-1. ERA 3.43, largely because of his last start. He got knocked around by the Colorado Rockies. Prior to that last start, had a 1 ERA. So still early in the season for him. The Los Angeles Dodgers delayed him this year to manage those innings. So you see that last start on Sunday, 4 innings, 7 hits, 6 earned runs. What's interesting about that is that he actually had more, only walked 1 guy. Found himself in a lot more trouble. Had 10 walks through his first 3 starts and got better results. I'm sitting next to Tom Cruise tonight.
You must be mistaken. All right, here we go. Julio Urias, D. Gordon, Christian Yelich, Marcell Ozuna will follow. First pitch, fastball. Gordon whacks it into center field. Gordon kind of looks into the Marlins dugout on his way up the first baseline as well. Gets a nice round of applause from the guys on the rail, and Miami is off to a quick start.
Yeah, the start you're looking for right here. 1 pitch in, why not be ready to hit? Left-handed hitters against Urias. Yes, small sample size, but still hitting 364 against him. See D. Gordon. Little hi, how you doing to the boys in the dugout.
Here is Christian Yelich. So I think the tone of this game will be interesting to see early. The Marlins would like to pick up where they left off last night. Angry. They did score a couple runs late. And another frustrating night last night. 5 in a row. And 19 of the last 23 the Marlins have lost. It equals the worst 23-game stretch in franchise history. Don Mattingly carrying the lineup to home plate. Bob Guerin there as well. A conversation about a minute and a half, 2 minutes before they both left for their respective dugouts. And here's Yelich. And he takes a strike.
Let me throw this out here right away. I mean, that 9th inning, the Marlins hit for a little while, and that's a feeling that they have not had in a long time. Good at bats, quality at bats late, putting together some guys on base and making Hatcher work last night there late. Hopefully they can do that right here against Urias in the 1st inning.
Former teammates D. Gordon, Adrian Gonzalez. 12 of 14 on the season is D. Yelich 1 for 7. That one was a home run to left field in game 1 of the series. Yelich comes in at .320 on base, .399 slugging percentage. Numbers really down from last year, but he hasn't had that real hot streak that we've seen Yelich get on. He certainly was on one last year and 2 years ago. Gordon back to first. Gonzalez knocks that throw down.
A little bit of a wild throw over there. Well, as we know, the Marlins have lost 5 straight. One thing that I would say, looking for some areas of improvement, that 2, 3, 4 spot in the lineup. Looking at Yelich, you're looking at Ozuna, you're looking at Stanton tonight. Only 1 home run and 3 RBIs in the last week of baseball total.
You know, another area of concern is that the Marlins have been giving up runs early and falling behind right away. So if the ball club could come out and put some runs up, take an early lead, that would be a change certainly from what they've experienced of late.
Well, and certainly with their hottest pitcher on the mound tonight.
Yelich takes up. That's veteran Dana DeMuth behind home plate. Paul Nauert at first. Chris Guccione at second. Carlos Torres is at third base.
Well, let me give you some numbers against Urias already. We're starting to see some trends here falling behind Yelich. As I said, left-handed hitters, 364 coming in, but he's actually walked 6 and only struck out 2 left-handed hitters. He's really struggled with his breaking pitches against those lefties.
Runner goes, Gordon on the run, and it's inside. That's ball 4. D had a good jump. Yelich trots down to first, and Miami is first and second with nobody out.
Well, what we know about Urias, we should not be surprised with what we've seen right here. Struggling with the left-handed hitters right now. His best pitch is a changeup. It's very good, very effective against the right-handed hitters.
What have you got on Julio Urias?
Well, let's give you a little bit of a scouting report before I get too excited and give it to you before we get to it. Here it is. Dodgers #1 prospect, right? Let's remember, he's only 20 years old. The Dodgers love this young man. They think very highly of him. 6 foot tall, 215 pounds. Again, managed his innings this year for a very specific reason. He's their #1 guy. Makeup. That's what everybody raves about him, is what he is all about. Scouts rave about his poise, his composure on the mound. And that's what leads us to our last one. Postseason history. That composure that I just told you about, he became the youngest postseason starting pitcher in Major League Baseball history last year on October 18th with his start.
Ozuna takes out. That was a Game 4 start against the Cubs in the NLCS. He picked up a win in the division series against Washington in the deciding Game 5 with 2 really nice innings in relief. Here is Ozuna. Marcel, a couple hits in the series. Gordon at second. Yelich not being held at first. Sunshine has disappeared from the fields. Crowd, big crowd here on a Saturday night. Some are still arriving. Dodgers have been drawing well because they've been playing well, and because they've certainly over the last 4 or 5 years, with Don Mattingly as their manager first and then Dave Roberts, have been to the postseason 4 consecutive seasons. Last year they drew 3.7 million, and they have led Major League Baseball in attendance for the last 3 years. There's Dave Roberts. Urias now has gone 2-0 on Marcell Ozuna. And he catches a corner. Ozuna paused. And they count 2-1. Here's a look. Boy, it's out.
I was right. It felt out. Certainly Marcell Ozuna, very good eye this year. Still looking for his pitch on a 2-0 count. Still ahead.
That's a strike as well.
Well, you see that changeup right there, a little up in the zone, but it tells you early in this ball game what Urias wants to do. He falls behind hitters. He wants to go to that changeup.
That was a strike. So the count 2-2.
But hitters, we think if the catcher doesn't catch it, there's no way it can be a strike. That's how we think.
In the dirt, changeup. Everybody moves up. Gordon to third. Yelich to second. And so Urias doubled up on the changeup, and it got by Yasmani Grandal.
Well, there's definitely some unpredictableness with this changeup tonight, no doubt about it. Grandal struggling with it. Remember the strike before it popped out of his glove. You see it right there, down in the dirt, unable to keep it in front. Marlins runners able to move up a couple bases, and great scoring opportunity here in the first inning.
So 3-2. Ozuna has not swung the bat in this at bat. And he takes outside. Ozuna walks. Bags are loaded. Here comes Stanton.
Right fielder number 10.
The Dodgers defensively tonight.
Well, let's take a look at this Dodgers defense. Here it is for you. Bellinger getting the start in left field tonight. Peterson back in center field. Kiki Hernandez out in right field tonight. He's the jack of all trades. Taylor, Seager, Utley, Adrian Gonzalez over at first base. Yasmani Grandal, Julio Urias on the mound.
Rick Honeycutt's on that mound as well. The pitching coach, longtime pitching coach for the Dodgers. The splits are of concern, I'm sure, for the Dodgers. After the Gordon single on the first pitch of the game, a walk to Yelich and a walk to Ozuna. Now, you've got Stanton at the plate, and if you watched last night's game or saw any of the highlights or any of Marlins Live or even the open of our telecast, you know that Stanton was involved as a, not a bit part, but he certainly wasn't front and center with all that went on.
Well,
he was simply the guy that had the ball go behind him, started towards the mound, and then everything started.
Yeah, well, the Dodgers will say this. The Marlins will say, that's our guy. You don't throw behind our guy. And the Dodgers will say, he's next man up. And that's really what it is. That's the Dodgers' defense. This isn't an eye for an eye. Well, your star for our star. This is, you threw at us, we're going to throw at you.
Stanton after the first pitch. Seager gets it out there. The relay is not in time. Miami gets a run. Ozuna's out at second base. Yelich ends up at third. Stanton gets an RBI. And the Marlins are on the board first, which is significant for this ball club.
First baseman number 41,
and here comes their hottest hitter, Justin Bour.
And why not? Lefty-lefty matchup against Urias has been very favorable this season. Get the hottest hitter up there. Nice job by Giancarlo Stanton beating that out at first. Keeps that run scoring opportunity still in check. Less than 2 outs.
Bour continues to just ride this hot streak out for a long time, and it's great to see because he was struggling when the month of April ended. His batting average below 200. The power numbers weren't there, and then all of a sudden in May, things have taken off.
That was a great example of where Justin Bour is right now, tracking a first pitch slider all the way to the outside corner. You even watched his hands kind of go with it. It's a really good sign. See that number 440 over the last 10 days.
Check swing. Oh, it is a swing. Third base umpire Carlos Torres says swing. Bour not real pleased. Here's a look.
Yeesh.
That's close.
I say no, but he's listening to me.
Wow.
Yeah, from that side, it's
that's tight. See what he gets. 1-1. Bour, a soft ground ball. Utley backhands. The turn by Seager is out at first base. Marlins will look at it. Yelich came across. If it's a double play, the inning's over. If he's safe at first, the Marlins will get another run. And we'll take a look at it for the first time as well.
It's now time to play This Year in Dodger History, presented by Mercedes-Benz dealers of Southern California.
Oh, I don't know that there's enough to overturn that.
I can't see his foot. It's behind Adrian Gonzalez right there. Just can't get enough of a look. It's so dependent on the initial call.
All winning their league championship. The Dodgers
Tim Wallach on the phone, and the Marlins will not challenge. So the Fish have to settle for a run here in Los Angeles. It's 1-0. In the Marlins dugout there, Freddie Gonzalez coming in from third base. I'm sure that check swing was discussed. Perry Hill coming in from first base. I'm sure that play at first was discussed as well. Dodgers lineup brought to you by Southwest. The veteran Chase Utley had a really good game one. Corey Seager at shortstop. Cody Bellinger in left field. Yasmani Grandal, University of Miami guy, is hitting cleanup. Adrian Gonzalez in first. Chris Taylor's been hot. Jock Peterson's in center. Kike Hernandez in the 8th spot, and Julio Urias will hit 9th. Dan Straley fastball, chopped towards Bour, fires to Straley just in time to beat Utley. 1 pitch, 1 out.
just the way Dan Straley likes it. Boy, he's been efficient over his last couple of starts as well. You see the numbers. This is his 9th start. It is so impressive to me is the fact that that batting average against is only at 160 right now. You see the 43 innings, yeah, the 19 walks and the 40 strikeouts. The opponent's batting average 160. This isn't somebody who just, you don't just fall upon that number. You make pitches in pitchers counts. You make pitches when you're ahead with 2 strikes. He's been doing a lot of that lately, and he's been efficient.
And he catches the corner on Corey Seager. The count is 0-1. Seager 3 hits, double, 3 walks. He's been on base a lot in this series.
There's the slider from Dan Straley. Keep your eyes on Dan Straley early tonight. Remember, he did take a line drive off the arm his last time out. Now, I don't think it's an issue. But again, this is game action. This is the adrenaline's flowing and things are moving. He does still have a bit of a bruise on that arm. You see it right there. See how black and blue it is. So far, so good. He looks like he's okay.
Dan's been wearing a compression sleeve around to keep the swelling down. And a changeup misses out. They count 2 balls and 2 strikes. It's a Dodger lineup that's been scoring runs, that's for sure. The Dodgers getting 7 on Friday and 7 on Thursday. Seager pulls it foul. Now, Straley had not given up a hit. 5th inning against the Astros, one of the best offensive teams in the game, and Evan Gattis had 106 miles an hour off the bat and glanced off that right forearm. He ended up making the play. He would finish the inning. He would give up a hit, just 1, and then he would come out of the ball game. And Seager strikes out. Straley, his first strikeout of the night. And here's Miami's defense behind Dan Straley.
Yeah, let's take a look at the Marlins defense tonight. Marcell Ozuna gets the start in left field. Christian Yelich in center. Giancarlo Stanton in right field. Dietrich gets the start over at third base. JT Riddle playing great baseball in at shortstop tonight. D. Gordon, Justin Ford, JT Realmuto, and Dan Straley on the mound.
Cody Bellinger takes a strike, and the count is 0-1.
Now the velocity's back. Rich, you remember even the end of his outing after getting hit, we watched his velocity fall off the table fast there after getting hit in the arm. He did stay in the game, but everything looks like it's back already. You see there, 92-mile-an-hour fastball. Good spin rate. That's what he's all about, especially at the top of the zone, and he's getting his fastball by guys right now.
Good sharp breaking ball, and Straley looks just like he did against Houston, right? No hits into that 5th inning. He strikes out Seager, and he strikes out Bellinger. 1-0 Miami. Park night, and it's hot, so many of the Dodger dogs are in cooler water. There's your Dodger dog.
That's a Dodger dog right there, isn't it? double dog, double down. Dog needs some water. I'm sure that dog doesn't appreciate being wrapped in a hot dog.
Well, not at this temperature.
No.
I think that dog would rather be in the pool.
It is definitely hot today.
JT Real Muto. And a breaking ball misses into JT. Derek Dietrich, JT Riddle. Marlins had a great opportunity in the first. They got one run out of it. A single and 3 walks.
That's what you call a good meeting by Rick Honeycutt. He stepped out of the dugout, visited Urias, and got 3 quick outs in about 4 pitches.
And this lefty out of Mexico still struggling with his control. And obviously you say the words lefty out of Mexico and Dodgers and 20 years old, and you think Fernando Valenzuela. That's right. And when Urias was young, his grandfather told him all about Fernando Valenzuela, and so he certainly knew the history. And when he signed with the Dodgers at age 16, he had his sights set on Dodger Stadium. There is Fernando on Spanish television for the Dodgers. Real Muto rolls it down the line. Taylor's throw is in time to get Real Muto. On Saturday, June 3rd, the Marlins and the Diamondbacks at 4:10. First 10,000 fans get a commemorative Giancarlo Stanton 2016 MLB Home Run Derby bobblehead, courtesy of Fox Sports Florida. Get your tickets today at marlins.com.
Dietrich steps in. So the numbers on the season. Solid on base percentage, .333. It's a start tonight against Urias. It's not a bad matchup. You've heard me talk about it. He has struggled with left-handed hitters this year. Small sample size, but the numbers don't lie. And he's already shown a willingness to throw the changeup to the lefties. So Marlins left-handed hitters tonight are going to have to keep that in the back of their minds. It's not fastball slider or fastball curve as it traditionally is when you face a lefty. He will throw that changeup.
Breaking ball, Dietrich pops it down that right field line into the corner. It rolls around there. The security guard's got to get out of the way. Dietrich's digging for 3. Utley's relayed to third, and he's in there. Great hustle by Derek Dietrich.
Now, partner, that's how you hit a triple right there at Dodger Stadium.
We talked about it last night. This ballpark does not yield many triples.
Only place you can really get them when you're, forced to, as far as defending it, is down in those corners, because as a right fielder, you have to consider navigate that rounded corner that they've got. You see the great swing right there. Gets a changeup, gets it by Adrian Gonzalez. See him get out of the box. He's thinking 3 right away. Great job hustling all the way. He's not thinking 2. There's no letting up here. He's like, this is a triple. He knows it. That's called being prepared, knowing your ballpark. Gets himself into scoring position with a triple.
Big at bat for JT Riddle. Infield in, 1 out. And Urias throws a fastball for a strike. You got the pitcher on deck, Dan Straley. And of course, Straley is not a very good hitting pitcher.
Dodgers are going to play their infield in here against JT Riddle.
Riddle, couple hits in this series, a double last night and a sacrifice fly. And he sends that one fouling out of play. He's behind 0-2. 3 of 3 with the runner at third and less than 2 outs. Riddle's been in this spot.
Well, he's got to protect now. He's got to find a way for contact. You don't get specific about the contact. You have to put the ball in play. That's what he's thinking.
See what he gets. 0-2. Came in with a fastball, and he fights it off.
Prior to that, you're still thinking get the ball to the outfield, maybe get it in the air, good contact. But when you're down 2 strikes, and you've got a runner in scoring position, particularly over there at third base, you've got to find a way to put this ball in play.
Slow roller, and it gets into left field. Riddle knocks in Dietrich. And Miami has their second run. And it wasn't pretty, but it was contact.
Well, I think This is where I follow up with the classic line of, well, you play your infield in, you turn a 300 hitter into a 400 hitter. That's what ends up happening. You only get a step and a dive as a middle infielder on the grass, and right here just kind of lays one through the left side. That thing almost comes to a complete stop in left field, but to the point, found contact. That's what he needed to do right there. And think about this, Orioles, only 2 strikeouts against lefties.
And the other thing, watching that, Dietrich was running first motion.
Oh, he needed to be running first motion. You see the ball down, that's exactly it. Because Dan Straley's coming up. Dan, you don't trust with the bat as much, just saying.
Straley will bunt here, at least attempt to. And he fouls that pitch off.
Really good at bat by JT Riddle. Now 7 for his last 17. May 14th, he was hitting .095, and he's getting that batting average up. It's a big league at bat right there by JT Riddle. Nicely done.
Straley squaring. Does get it down. Grandal thinks about second. Now goes to first and just gets Straley. That's a tough one as a catcher, right? Because you want to make sure you get it out, and Grandal for a moment thought about second.
And that's what happens a lot of times. You first thing you think of is pitcher, non-athlete, and you say, okay, well, I've got an extra second here because he's not going to be fast down the line. And what ends up happening is you get a little too close to the fire. You think about second base a little bit too much. Dan Straley does exactly what he's supposed to do by hustling down the line, and ended a lot closer than it was supposed to be.
So the sacrifice successful. Gordon saw one pitch, and he sent it right back up the box into center field, and that got the first inning started.
Urias has failed the first time through the lineup to get the left-handers to go for that breaking ball of his. Now his changeup has been useful at times against the lefties. Nobody's really biting on the breaking ball.
Gordon fouls it off. D now 3 for 7 in this series. He's one of the components that the Marlins would love to see get rolling here. A slow start for Gordon in 2017. As I noted, in this series, 3 for 7.
Well, and what D represents is not just the speed or consistency atop the lineup. He frustrates the opposing starter. When he's over there at first base, he's taking a lot of attention.
That and energy. He brings energy to this offense when he's rolling and he's getting on. I mean, you think about that first inning. The first pitch, he sends it into center field, and on his way up the line, he turns to the Marlins dugout as if to say, hey, come on, let's go.
He's their spark plug, and I think that's the way I see D's game. You know, statistically, sure, want him on base, love to see it 350, 360, stealing base and doing what he does. But let's remember this, he's the guy that's on the top step. He's the guy that chirps a little bit. He's the guy that celebrates with his teammates as much as anybody I've seen this year. And when he's on his game, everybody feeds off that really positive D. Gordon. This is the first pitch of the ball game right here. Hello. Well done.
Gordon here with the count 1-2. It is an all-star Saturday night for us. I know we're on the road, and normally when we are at Marlins Park, we have guests that come in that are all-stars, Marlin all-stars. Well, in Los Angeles, Rob Nen is here tonight, and he'll join us in the third. Rob Nen currently working for the San Francisco Giants. Special assistant to Brian Sabian.
We're going to get a scout.
That's a little inside information. You think we can?
Everybody, come on. Yeah, maybe. I don't know. We'll pry it out of him.
1-2. It's out. Good take by Gordon. And they count 2 balls and 2 strikes. JT Riddle, RBI single. Urias has thrown a lot of pitches here. 2 outs in the second. And he is 35 pitches in.
A lot of quality at bats for the Marlins tonight. Fighting, they're battling, putting balls in play.
Fastball up. And it's a Gordon now with the count 3-2. Now, one of the things the Dodgers are trying to do with Urias is limit his innings this year. He's only 20. His workload's been somewhat heavy over the last couple seasons. So they started him in extended spring. He started his season with a few AAA starts. Gordon lofts it into center field. That's a hit. Riddle around third, and he's going to score. And the Marlins have a 3-0 lead.
A couple of great at bats for D. Gordon tonight.
For 21, Christian Yelich.
This entire at bat, D. Gordon just fought him off, and you see this breaking ball right there. That's what I'm talking about. That's the enthusiasm and the passion, and there's nothing wrong with what he's doing right there. It's called getting your team fired up and bringing it. Look at that right there. Slider off the low corner, just dumps it in center field, picks up JT Riddle, who had a heck of an at bat himself.
And for the Marlins, there goes Gordon. Grandal's throw is high. Gordon's in there. He's got the bag. And D. Gordon swipes bag number 13. And you bet he's a shot of energy. For the Marlins to score runs without a home run is significant here tonight.
Well, that is an understatement. We've been talking about that all week long, and it really has been their only form of offense for quite some time. To watch them put together great at bats tonight, take the extra base, move up on a wild pitch, put a ball in play, dump one in center field, steal another base. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yelich takes a slow breaking ball for a strike, and the count is 0-2. Yelich walked in the first. Miami with 3 runs on 4 hits. Gordon runs. Yelich fouls it off.
It's not a bad go right there by D. Gordon. Even with a left-handed hitter at home plate. A little pressure on the Dodger defense. If in fact you can get thrown out at third, you have Christian Yelich leading off next inning.
Christian Yelich's mom here tonight. She was thrilled with the home run on Thursday night. Another 0-2. Yelich a liner, and it's right at Taylor. But the Marlins get 2. A triple by Dietrich. RBI singles by JT Riddle and D. Gordon.
transmitted in any form, and the accounts and the descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Miami Marlins.
In Los Angeles tonight, Miami has an early lead over the Dodgers. Bottom two, Dan Straley has Yasmani Grandal, Adrian Gonzalez, and Chris Taylor all lined up. Rob Nen will join us in the top of the third inning. And here is Grandal. Solid contact, but right at D. Gordon. He fires to first in time to get that out.
You've seen aggressiveness from the Los Angeles Dodgers tonight. 12 pitches in, 4 outs already. Dan Straley will take it. He has been on his game, making good first pitches, keeping them on the ground. Remember, Rob Nett on the brain. Dan is more of a fly ball pitcher. The fact that he's getting lots of ground balls is good. This Dodger team coming out swinging against him tonight.
Gonzalez, Bohr will take it himself. And Straley getting ground ball outs now. He's got 3 ground ball outs and 2 strikeouts. You go back to, I guess, a couple months into last season. Straley as a Cincinnati Red. That's when all of a sudden everything seemed to click in for him. That offseason between 15 and 16, the work with the Driveline folks up in Seattle. And one of the starts that really got it rolling for him was a start here. It was at Dodger Stadium. Now, he lost the decision, but in 7 innings, he struck out 11 Dodgers.
But Dan's shown the ability to do that already this year. The start against the San Diego Padres, he had it going on, and that's what's been interesting tonight. He hasn't even really gotten to that nasty slider. Maybe that's what the Dodgers are trying to do, is avoid that slider at all costs by jumping on first pitch fastballs. Hitters are only hitting 106 against the slider. Dan Straley has hardly thrown 2 or 3 tonight.
Only Irvin Santana of the Twins has a lower batting average against. And so Straley has the best mark in the National League. Yeah. Chris Taylor has been a godsend for the Dodgers. I mean, look, the Dodgers are 25 and 18. They are star-studded in their rotation, in their bullpen, on their 25-man, on their disabled list. But look at what Chris Taylor has done.
He's reached base safely in 18 straight ball games with a .485 on base percentage.
And he's incredibly versatile. He can play just about anywhere. Month of May, he's hitting .373. Straley gets a strike.
You hone in on the production from Bellinger and Taylor and label it somewhat unexpected. And you're not surprised that this Dodger team they're as good as they are, but that they've been able to even survive the loss of the major league's top hitter. Turner over at third base. They're going to be without him for a while, but nobody's worried about that right now.
It's funny, if you had said that 2 years ago, you would say, all right, Adrian Gonzalez.
Yeah.
I mean, your checklist would be going down all these Dodger names. But Justin Turner's leading the National League in hitting. And the turnaround in his career is just incredible. Taylor takes in and trots down to first. So that on-base streak is now at 19. Dodgers' first base runner. And here comes Jock Peterson.
Center fielder, number 31, Jock Peterson.
Peterson came in the ballgame last night, was 0 for 2. Was 1 for 3 on Thursday night.
Peterson off to a slow start for the Dodgers. He has shown throughout his career a streakiness. Again, they're still confident he's going to get his bat going.
Peterson, an all-star back in 2015. And a strike. Dodgers known for their rookies of the year. He was not a rookie of the year. My partner was a rookie of the year. But one thing that Peterson did is he made the all-star team as a rookie. And he was the first guy to do that since Hideo Nomo. Do you have like a secret meeting of all the rookies of the year in November or December every year?
In a secret location.
Big swing and a miss. Is there a secret handshake for all you rookies?
No, maybe just a smile. That'd be about it. I was telling somebody earlier today about the rookies of the year, and they said, how did the Dodgers come up with it? I said, honestly, the best answer that I can give you is the preparation that they gave us in the minor leagues, and that's really it.
1-2. That one fouled back and out of play.
You know, in my preparation for becoming a Dodger, when I got drafted, they didn't say, you know, you're going to be a left fielder. They said you're going to be an outfielder. And I said, what do you mean by that? He goes, no, A-ball you're playing left, Double-A you're going to play right, and Triple-A you're going to play center field. So when I got here, it was like, you know, it's actually what they were preparing me for. They think those things through long in advance.
Check swing, no swing. Well, that's the blueprint that the Marlins had for the outfield that they've got all the way up. That was very close to the board check swing that was a strike. Yelich played all 3 spots. Ozuna played all 3 spots. Stanton was moved around as well. Peterson flips it foul. And it's 2-2.
Well, the Dodgers never really, and I suppose I can't speak for the runs before me, but even our run of 5, there were a lot of veteran players on this team, and I personally really benefited from that. In fact, I was, you know, locker mates with Tim Wallach. They were like, do what Tim says and don't say anything unless he tells you to. So, I mean, that's kind of how it was. I mean, I had just a room full of older brothers. It wasn't, you know, a bunch of young players trying to figure out what the big leagues are all about at the same time. That's very common for the Dodgers. There's Timmy.
Straley finishes off Peterson. The Marlins have a 3-0 lead, and 2-time All-Star Rob Nen will toe tap his way into the booth next. In Southern California, the All-Star game is coming to Miami. It's on Fox on July 11th. And every Saturday night we have an All-Star stop by. And we have a 3-time All-Star that joins us. Rob Nen, former closer for the Fish. Had a really great run with the Giants as well. And a Southern California guy. Traffic wasn't bad. You came right up to 5.
It's not bad. Nah, traffic was a little tight, but it worked our way up here.
There's always traffic on a freeway down here.
Traffic, for sure.
Well, welcome to the booth. Welcome to the ball game. Now let's start with what you're up to now. I know when you got out of the game as a player, you stuck around a little bit. You did some consulting with the Giants. Spring training, the Giants will call you to go in.
Yeah, you know, they kind of offered me a job, and at the time I wasn't ready for it. You know, the kids are still young and all that stuff, so I just wanted to stay home and spend as much time with them. So I still go to spring training with them every year and do whatever I need to up in San Francisco for them, some golf tournaments and more or less fun stuff.
Are you involved enough, or would you like to be involved more?
You know, I like to do more stuff up there. It would definitely be nice to get up there and see the fans and do some PR stuff and all that stuff. And they've always offered it to me and all that stuff. It's just there's so many guys up there, and they take care of so many guys up there. Right. You know, with JT Snow and Willie Mays and McCovey and all those guys. Those guys are so into it up there that they don't need me.
No, they need a relief arm.
They need you.
They do, really. I mean, they don't have a guy out of their bullpen.
Well, they're Melanson's back, and hopefully he's going to be all right. But they got off to a slow start.
They did. Lost Madison Bumgarner.
Yeah. Marcell Ozuna takes out. Marlins up 3-0 here. Now, Rob Nem was a member and a key member of the 1997 World Championship team. You did get back to the World Series with the Giants in 2002, but 97 was the season that Marlin fans remember you for. The 3-1 to Ozuna. Pulls it on the ground. Taylor, long throw. Gonzalez is up off the bag, and Ozuna is across. Now Gonzalez looks into his dugout. He wants a video review, and we'll let Rob Nen dissect this as we take our first look at that play at first base. Let's see what we got.
Taylor does a nice job getting to the backhand, but that's about as long a throw as you're going to get. A little bit high, and that is inconclusive from our view.
All right, we'll try another look. Remember,
number 27, Giancarlo Stanton.
Up. I don't know that they can challenge that.
I don't know.
Yeah, and they're not going to challenge it. You got to be 100% sure that you can overturn it. And so here is Giancarlo Stanton. Rob Nen, if you were pitching to Giancarlo Stanton, how would you do it?
Carefully, definitely carefully. I mean, he's a guy that can hurt you, you know, all parts of the field, and you know, when they go, they go. So definitely, probably, you know, try to stay away a little bit, show him in, breaking balls in the dirt, try to get him to chase something, and hope to God he doesn't hit it back up the middle.
Now we see on that graphic there, 93 to 97. You were a starter before you were in the bullpen. Whose decision was it to move you to the pen? How did that come about?
You know, I think a lot of it was I started a couple games for the Marlins, and I think that was the normal. They wanted me to start, and you know, so the following year I went back to the bullpen, and guys got hurt. Brian Harvey got hurt. Jeremy Hernandez got hurt, and I kind of fell into the closer's role. I started throwing the ball real well in the bullpen, and one thing led to another, and you know, for me it was the best thing that ever happened.
Stanton swings and misses. It's 2-1.
Does it take embracing that? Because, I mean, you talk to most young players today. They're like, all I want to do is start. I got to start. It's where the money's at. It's where the big deal is at. You know, you look at that role, and you dominated it. Over 100 saves as a Marlin. Fantastic run. Certainly fantastic with the Giants. But you said a key word there, like you embraced it. How important is that?
You know, I think that's a big thing. I think you got to go out and really, you know, enjoy it and want to do it, and really kind of put your heart into doing it. And for me, I wasn't a guy to be able to, you know, pitch and come back every fifth day. You know, I wanted to get in every game. You know, if you had a rough game, you know, I wanted to be able to get back out there that next night, and that was part of it. And you know, there's nothing better than after a game, you know, you get the final save and everybody's out there, and you know, it's a rush, and it's something that you know, I enjoyed doing.
You made 35 of them in 1997, so you closed out a lot of those wins.
It was a little up and down year for me. I struggled a little bit. Didn't have the most consistent year. But kind of got through it and worked my way into the playoffs, and did okay in the playoffs, and had a great run with those guys as far as just being a part of that team and be a part of everything.
Well, now now this is where I'm going to ask you from the hitter's perspective, because you frustrated all of us. I'm speaking for all hitters. How did you come up with the toe tap?
God, bad mechanics, horrible mechanics. You know, I think coming out of high school, I either had my toe pointed down or pointed up. You know, when I got to Texas, they tried to change it and tried to get the opposite wherever it was.
A balk called, and that's going to send Ozuna to second. And the Marlins have a runner in scoring position with nobody out.
So that kind of came out of that whole deal, and it worked for me. It was not the best thing for me as far as throwing on the side and doing stuff, and different mounds kind of messed me up a little bit, but it did kind of screw up some hitters every once in a while.
Man, I got a long list. Not just me, including me, but there's a lot of guys that struggled with your 96, 97 with the toe tap to mess with our eyes.
Stanton drills one foul down the left field line. If you're just joining us, Rob Nen just joined us. 3-0 Miami on top. Stanton with a 3-2 count with Ozuna at second base. Now, if the Marlins win this game, you know you've got to come back tomorrow.
I'm in. I'm just going to leave a little bit earlier.
The Marlins are desperate right now for wins, and you've brought good so far.
It's a good team. It's
Stanton to right. Off the wall. Ozuna got a good read off the bat. He's going to score easily. And Stanton cruises in with a double. An opposite field double. And Miami stretches the lead to 4-0.
Playing a little trading places right there. Well done by Giancarlo Stanton. Watch how he gets his arms extended here. We see it. We've talked about this changeup. He saw it. He did not roll over it. He stayed through it. Watch the eyes of a hitter. They don't lie. See how he tracks this ball all the way through the swing and off the right field wall. Picks up an RBI double. Look at Ozuna. Gets a nice read. Able to score easily.
So 4-0, and here's Bohr. Still nobody out. And a 20-year-old Julio Urias having a rough night so far. And gets a strike. What are your best memories of the '97 World Series? Jim Leyland, your skipper.
You know,
Cleveland Indians were a team on the brink of breaking through.
You know, a lot of things. From the start, it was Jim basically going out there and watching him run a game the way he could, and it was amazing. I mean, there was stuff that he did that we all kind of looked at each other like, really? And then all of a sudden, an inning later, it completely went, what he really was planning on doing. So that was a great thing, and getting to the playoffs in the World Series and spend a lot of time with that whole team and bonding and Moises Alou, Bonilla, and Conine and all those guys. It was a great run and just a great bunch of guys to do it with.
0-2 pitch to Bohr. And in that game 7, you ended up pitching, if I remember, the 9th and the 10th.
Yes.
To get it to the 11th.
Yes. Yes.
Did you feel anything in the 9th and the 10th? I mean, was the emotion of the moment, of the time, of the game 7? I mean, there's a lot of things that people think in that moment. I wasn't on the mound ever. I mean, I just.
Bohr into right center field. That's a hit, and Stanton around third. He'll score. It's kicked in center by Peterson, and Bohr ends up at second, trading places again. The Marlins are up 5-0. This is like magic. Rob Nen steps in the booth, and the Marlins all of a sudden
can't stop hitting.
Have 2 runs.
Great 2-strike approach right there. Chased a changeup down in the zone. Just a pitch before that, gets through it just enough, and through the infield picks up another RBI.
Bohr will not get credit for a double, apparently. He'll get a single and an error, but he will get an RBI.
So pitching in the World Series Game 7, being in that, like, explain to the fans what that felt like for you. Did you feel the pressure of the situation? Because I mean, it's like, you can't give up a run. You don't want to give up a hit. I mean, it feels like that's the ultimate situation that every pitcher dreams of being in. But along with that comes the most pressure that you probably could ever imagine.
I don't think there's always pressure and there's always adrenaline going, but I think there's a lot more adrenaline going in that situation, knowing that any run can sway the game any which way. So for me, once I got in the game, the adrenaline kind of takes over, and the butterflies kind of leave, and the nervousness and all that stuff. So for me, it was more when I was out on the mound, it was all gone. It was just adrenaline. I knew I had a job to do. Once I got done and got in the dugout, watching it, then the nerves really kind of kicked back in.
Wow. That's amazing.
JT Realmuto bounced out back in the second. Miami 5 runs on 6 hits. Dodger bullpen silent. Urias making start number 5. And Realmuto takes a strike. Who was the most underrated part of that 97 team? Was it somebody hidden in that bullpen? Was it some regular that hit down in the lineup, or someone off of the bench?
You know, there was a bunch of guys. It seemed like every game somebody was doing something different. But for me, the one guy that really kind of clicks with me is Darren Dalton. You know, once we got him in the trade, I remember, you know, being at I think it was Cincinnati, and you know, we were kind of struggling a little bit when we first got him. He basically, after a game, kind of pulled us all together and said, "Hey, man, this is one of the best teams I've been around. A lot of good talent, a lot of guys. You know, you should go a long ways." And from then on, it was just somebody different every night, and we went out and had a great time.
Confidence is contagious, is what it sounds like, and he was throwing a lot of it out.
For sure, you know, and he was old school. You know, stuck around in the clubhouse after the game, and you know, from Charles Johnson, you know, to all of us would sit in the training room while he had ice on every part of his body.
Right.
You know, telling stories, talking about the game, talking about how the game went, and for me, that was a big part of that whole year, as we all kind of came together as a team, really. Solidified us and really had a chance to learn from somebody that's been there before and somebody that knew how to do the game.
2-2 to Real Muto. Boers at second. And Urias misses in. His pitch count is continuing to climb. There's the split for Urias. 22 pitches here in the third. Let's go back to 1997 in that World Series against the Cleveland Indians. Oh, look at you now.
You know, a lot more hair, a lot more darker hair, I guess.
Sporting the black and teal. The sleeveless look in the World Series.
Right.
That was a big play.
Brings back good memories, a lot of great memories.
There's your 97 line. 8 games, 4 saves. And so you had the 9th and the 10th and handed it over. That I wasn't there in 97. You were there in 03.
I was there in 03, yes.
But I hear players from that 97 team talk about the enormity of that football stadium and the large amount of people that were there and just the energy in that building.
It was crazy. It was loud. There was emotions going through there. The fans were amazing.
Yes.
You know, we fed off it. We fed off that whole series, that whole game. You know, it was just a great experience, and you know, to see that many people at a baseball game was amazing.
Let me ask you this. You've been out of the game now for a little while. What do you think of the game of baseball right now? What do you see, you know, with this next generation, this next wave? Does it impress you? Do you see things? I mean, guys throwing harder, hitting the ball farther, doing a lot of things different than our generation, so to speak. But
I think there's some great athletes. I think these guys are bigger, faster, stronger than us for the most part. I mean, they train a lot more than we ever did. You know, even though we were starting to do all that stuff and really kind of started figuring out, these guys are really getting it figured out. So these guys, you know, it's fun to watch. The game's a little different now, but it's definitely going the right direction.
Would you be interested, like when you watch overshifting, like how would you think that through when you see the overshifting? A lot of clubs do.
You know, for me, I'm not a big fan of it. I mean, but I don't sit and look at the numbers and all that stuff. So for me, I like to be able to pitch the guys, and if I made a mistake and they did something that
there was no shortstop there.
No, I'd be a little upset, especially late in the game. So I mean, there was times that they'd move the outfielders, and you know, I kind of wanted them in one spot, and if they weren't kind of where they were at, you know, it is what it is. I mean, you still got to go out and get outs, but you know, I like it. You know, guys to kind of play their position and kind of go out and do what they need to do.
Who's your favorite closer in the game these days? Do you follow that position, your spot, and look around the league and keep a tab on guys?
You know, there's a lot of them. Lanson, I watched him for a while, and you know, Chapman. I mean, how do you not like a guy like that who throws, you know, 100 miles an hour, left-handed, goes out there and does what he does. And there's a lot of great guys. Like I say, the guys are bigger and stronger, and they're throwing harder. It seems like every one of them, you know, throwing mid-90s and up, and it's pretty impressive.
Derek Dietrich to center field. That's well hit. Peterson going back, reaches, got it, crashes against the wall. Boer returns to second, and Real Muto to first. That's a nice play by Jock Peterson. A long out off the bat of Derek Dietrich.
Yeah, that's right. The first out here in the third is a well-struck ball to center field. See Peterson right there, just up against the wall. Marlins base runners going halfway Not sure if Peterson was going to be able to make the catch, so they were not able to tag and move up.
You were an All-Star 3 times. Favorite All-Star memory? Was there one of those 3 games that stood out for you?
You know, all of them were great memories. I mean, they all had a chance to do different things. You know, anytime you can kind of get in the clubhouse with your peers and guys that you look on the other side and guys that are, you know, are absolute studs and, you know, at the level that they play at, you know, just being in the clubhouse, just being around those guys, having a chance to talk to them, having a chance to see them was probably the best memories I've had.
314 career saves, 108 of those as a Marlin. 1998, I think you're going to tell me, was your year, your first year with the Giants. Just absolutely the numbers off the board. I want you to tell us what being in the zone as a closer is like. I mean, you look at the 40 saves, 152 ERA. You know, you talked about it. You know, there were years you had a 2, a couple years you had a 3 ERA, good numbers. You struck out 110 guys in 88 innings that year. I mean, you were locked in and loaded whole season.
It was a good year, and it was one of those things, you know, coming to a new team and trying to really, you know, join those guys. And
that's a fair ball. JT Riddle into the corner. After it is Hernandez. Bohr will score. Here comes Real Muto. Utley's relay is not in time. Riddle races to third, and he's in there. And Miami has a big inning.
Well, Rob, you're just going to permanently sit with us from now on.
And Rob,
we have to go. Where are we going? Oh, we have to. Where's our next trip?
Oakland.
Oh, we got to go to Oakland. Just so you know, we're going to Oakland tomorrow.
You know, the view up here is awesome.
How about this young shortstop getting his first taste of the big leagues and making the most of it?
Well, why not? JT Riddle, he continues to talk about confidence, feeling good about his swing, just feeling better generally about everything this second time being up this season, and you see it in his swing. We've been seeing it in his defense all year, but the offense is really coming around right now. Look at him running wild. Great read around second base, too. Watches the throw and realizes there's going to be a play at the plate and then moves up. Pitching change for the Dodgers. Julio Urias, a short start, and a big night so far for Miami. Well, you know what did it? Riddle, 2 for 2 tonight. He's driven in 3, 4 hits in the series. The Marlins, for the second time in this series, will see Luis Avilan as he takes over for Julio Urias. 3-time All-Star Rob Nen is with us on an All-Star Saturday night. Of course, the All-Star game is in Miami at Marlins Park on July 11th. Have you been to Marlins Park yet?
I have. I've been there a couple times, and a couple years ago we went, and it's beautiful.
Well, you're invited back anytime, especially after this 4-run inning.
Wow, I hope so. It's definitely fun to get to any of the ballparks.
Dan Straley now, not a great hitter, better bunter, but with 1 out, the Dodgers have the infield in, and Riddle at third base. How much baseball do you watch now? And are there teams that you pay particular attention to? I know you have a connection still with the Giants.
You know, I don't watch as much as I used to. You know, it always seems like it's always right around dinner time and kids doing something or whatever. But I try to catch as many games as I can and try to watch them. I still watch Marlins a little bit. I still watch, you know, the Giants as much as I can.
Squeezes on, Straley misses. Riddle with a great spin move, but he's out of the baseline and he's called out. Well, he gets an A for effort and creativity.
Sure does.
Does Riddle. Watch this move by Riddle.
Yeah, well, this is outstanding. This is the highlight of the play. Unfortunately, it doesn't work because he never gets him.
Now you establish your base path as a runner, so you see where he's established, and then he probably went 3 feet out from there. Not as much as you think, though, because it's not measured by the actual line. It's measured where he was running.
Well, next time he'll have to give him the left, right, left as opposed to the spin move. Stay inside that line. I'm telling you, that was a great highlight. I know it doesn't matter. Counts for nothing. Be sure to tell him after the ball game because that was a pretty sweet move.
Rob Nen is with us. We're going to give him a baseball and force him to throw a slider when we return. Oh. Or at least tell us how to throw a slider when we get back. 7-0. Marlins on top.
About ready to get nasty in here.
This, Todd, will start with you. Dan Straley's slider has been a terrific pitch for him.
Well, Dan Straley's slider has been absolutely magical this year. As I said a little bit earlier, hitters are only hitting 100 against it. It's been a wipeout slider. The great thing about Dan Straley's slider is that he adds and subtracts. He can put it where he wants. It's in a lot of ways like his fastball. He trusts it that much. He throws it about 30% of the time. It is that good. Now, the guy sitting next to me had one just like it. Rob, show us how you grip that slider.
So I used to grip it like this and basically just kind of wrap it. And Richie Lewis, who played for the Marlins, was actually the one that kind of taught me his curveball, and what came out of it was my slider. So I used to just get on top of it and pull down as hard as I can. And it ended up being good days and bad days. Some days it was a little harder than others, and some days I had a little more break.
I'll explain that. You know, and I talk to Dad about this all the time. But when he's going really good, he can put it where he wants. It's like the ability to see the zone. Now, some guys, you talk about it as, I say it in terms of this: can you throw it for a strike, and then can you wipe a guy out? Well, most of you guys always have that, carry it in your back pocket. I can wipe you out with it. But the idea is that you're getting it down into the zone. Could you, when you were rolling really well, put it where you want?
Yeah, for the most part, I threw a couple of them. I threw kind of a side-to-side one, a little more, kind of back a left-hander's back foot as much as possible. And then, I kind of threw a little more for a strike. And then, for lefties, I tried to get to a straight down, almost kind of back up a little bit, kind of get really on top of it and kind of bring it down. So I was able to throw 3 of them. Not every night, every day, but that was when I was going good. I was able to do that.
David Eckstein, World Series with the Giants.
Not fair right there. He had no chance.
The good days were good. The bad days were not good. Trust me.
Eck had no shot right there of doing anything with that pitch.
Yeah, those are the good days. That happens.
Luis Avila, right center. Yelich is there, and he makes the catch. Now, watching Dan Straley throw his slider, seems like he's got his thumb up a little more than you had your thumb, and it's more of a release that way than that way.
Yeah, you know, most guys kind of throw sliders. They want to throw them a little bit like that. I was kind of more of kind of wrap it and get it up, and as soon as I got up front, I just pulled down. So that was kind of why I threw it so hard, was just the getting in the strength spot of it and letting it go. So, and that's why I think I had a little more depth than a lot of guys. A lot of guys kind of get that short, flat, not flat, but a little shorter slider. I get mine to be a little bigger, a little shorter, a little you know, a little more of a backup or whatever I needed.
Now,
nasty, man.
If you were teaching a youngster who's 11 or 12 and wanted an off-speed pitch, I'm sure you wouldn't give him the big sharp slider that you threw, but what would you teach him right now?
You know, I didn't throw it real well, and I always tried to throw it every year. I think every year I always worked on it was a changeup, just a straight changeup. You know, at least from a young age to go out there and throw a fastball changeup is really what they should be doing. Staying away from the curveball, staying away from the slider and all that stuff. Once they kind of get bigger, stronger, their body kind of matures a little bit, then maybe start throwing some curveballs or sliders at them.
Did you have a song? Did you come into a song? Did they have that for closers back when in '93 when you started?
Yeah, you know, when I was in Florida, it was kind of anything, you know, rockish and loud and whatever it was and all that stuff. And then once I got to San Francisco, it ended up being Smoke on the Water, and it was something that we went into the new stadium. They're like, "What songs do you want?" I'm like, "I don't care, just play something loud and whatever it was." So they came up with
easy.
Yeah, I was easy. They came up with Smoke on the Water, and it stuck. And you know, actually. To this day, it still feels good.
And your kids still play it, like when you come to the dinner table, Smoke on the Water, here comes Dad?
They do it when they know they're in trouble.
Smoke on the water. I get it. Right? Stadium water, right? Close. I mean,
2-2 the count to chase up. They know if Rob Nen is kind enough, he'll grace us with another half inning since the Marlins scored 4. You got another half inning in you?
I would love to. The view's nice right here.
This is like you going the 9th and the 10th in Game 7. On Fox Sports Florida, late night with the Fish, back home, and Rob Nen is our guest. There's the record book, saves, games finished. Looks like he's got a grip on a slider right there. 1997 world champion.
Good memories, good times back then.
D. Gordon. And Avilan with the breaking ball for a strike. So Southern California, and you've been a Southern California guy. Dodgers, Padres, who was your team growing up?
You know, I think the Dodgers were. My dad played for them, so we'd come to old timers games here and spend a little time up here. So Angels they weren't my favorite. So the Dodgers ended up being, and then once I became a Giant, then that kind of faded and all that stuff. So definitely more the Dodgers.
Rob, who were some of your guys in the game? Some of your best buds. I mean, everybody. You play in certain places for long enough, and you did certainly both with the Marlins and the Giants. I'm sure you had a couple buddies that were kind of your guys when you played. There was a bunch of them. You know as well as I do. You play on every team, and every year there's somebody different. Kirk Reeder was probably one of them. Probably the one I still talk to the most is Niner. Yeah. He's still we still chit chat whenever I can get a phone call back from him.
It's tough. It's tough.
He's a busy man.
He's a busy man. He's always all over the place. So Jeff's probably one of them. Guys like Moises Alou, were great teammates. Guys that love to play with, love to be around, and Bobby Bowe and Devo and a lot of guys from that '97 World Series team.
Well, let me ask you about what in the last couple of years we've seen this. I don't want to say that the closer's roles necessarily changed, but it has a little bit. There's this idea that the greatest guy in the bullpen can be used a little bit more differently. In that maybe you see Andrew Miller pitching in the 7th or 8th inning, and I just kind of wanted to get your thoughts on what the closer's role and how it's changed and what you see. Is that something you believe that can be done, or do you think it should still be a little bit more specific?
I still like the old school, going out and throwing the 8th or 9th inning, whatever you need to. But you definitely saw what happened in the World Series and playoffs and all that stuff, where those guys were coming in early in the game. It worked for a while. It kind of backfired a little bit for the most part. So I'm still kind of a purist and liking the whole late inning guy and all that stuff. But with that being said, there's certain times in the game that might happen. And I always kind of threw myself out there if Rags ever needed anybody to do that and get out there early in the game. So we'll see. But you got the older generation before us. Those guys are talking 3-4 innings for saves and all that stuff. So purist is all kind of where you lay down with it.
And the reason I ask you that question is because I don't know if it's more about the guys who are the closers or who you view in the sport as the guy who pitches the 9th inning, and maybe it's the guy with the best stuff, or is it the managers? And I think that's what's so interesting. Like, who would have to change? Is it more about the managers? Because I think your point's a great one. I'm not sure you could, use that guy, like you were talking about how Aroldis Chapman was used and how Andrew Miller was used, and they were like, I'm not sure you can get away with that for a long period of time or throughout an entire season. And I guess the point is, do you think players would embrace that, or do they like the 9th inning? That's my job. I only pitch the 9th inning. This is what I want to do.
For me, I liked it, and that was something that I always kind of thought it solidified the bullpen a little bit. So if you had some guy in the 9th inning, you can kind of mix and match everywhere else, and bring in guys 7th, 8th inning, and do what you need to do, and give guys breaks. Because there's certain times in the game where you're going to throw a setup guy in the 7th or 8th inning, and you may not use a closer that day. So you can kind of mix and match a little bit. So for me, I like having the closer at the end. Everybody kind of knows their roles for the most part, and everybody knows when they're going to get up and when they're not.
Well, Andrew Miller is kind of the poster child for changing that. Obviously, Joe Madden tried to stretch Aroldis as many outs as he could out of Aroldis Chapman. Marlins saw a closer here the other night, incredibly nasty. Kenley Jansen, with that cut fastball, has been just lights out over the last 3-4 years.
He's got great stuff, and you sit and watch him, and he really kind of throws one pitch. He throws that hard slider or hard cutter, kind of like Mariano, and you always kind of used to sit and watch Mariano. I'm not sure if you faced him. You sit there and go, God, he's throwing one pitch.
Two times. Not good memories. Let's move on.
Well, and that's the whole thing. It's the same thing with Jansen. It's you watch him, and he's just, here it comes. Here's the cutter. Hit it, and majority of the times, he's on top and
I don't
get through it.
People really even understand that as hitters. What's coming. I mean, there's no. I mean, we were talking about sign stealing a couple nights ago, and I just think it's so interesting because Mo, you knew what you were going to get, and it was going to be around the plate. It was like even with Trevor Hoffman and that great changeup, you knew you were going to get it
for sure.
And you go up there and you get in the box, and it's such a dirty pitch. It's so nasty that even though you know what's coming, you still don't do anything with it.
And that's the hard thing for me. As hard as I threw, there was more days, if I didn't locate that fastball, and I had a little bit of movement, maybe not as much as those guys, but there was half the time I was backing up third base.
That's a little roller down the third base line. Dodgers are going to let it roll, and it rolls foul. All right, if Rob Nen were to open the College of Closing, and if I want to be a closer, I got to go through your school, I would expect that along with the pitch, the slider, the changeup, whatever you're teaching them mechanically, there's got to be a huge section on psychology. Many relievers throughout this great sport have the stuff and a wipe out this or a go-to pitch that, but they stumble when they get in that role in the 9th inning. What did you overcome to master that, and what would you teach young closers who are trying to master that?
You know, I think that's the hardest part. There's so many guys out here that have such great stuff, and so many guys throwing hard out here, and some guys can adapt to the 9th inning, some guys can't. I think a lot of it is being able to cope with
that's a base hit by Ozuna.
You know, coping with basically you got a city on your back, you got a team on your back, you got a starting pitcher. Most of the time, you know, goes out there and throws 6, 7, 8 innings, and now all of a sudden you come into the game and you're either the GOAT or the hero. So once you kind of learn how to do that, you know, guys, you kind of fall in position a little bit better. You know, and some guys did it differently. I know Hoffy never used to leave the clubhouse until it was over with. You know, for me, depends how it was. If I went out and ball 1, ball 2, ball 3, walked a guy, stolen second base, and same thing, kind of got behind guys, I took it tough. You know, if I went out and faced a Hollinsworth, you know, fastball down the way, he hits a home run to tie it, you know, I was good with that because he's, you know, great hitters out there and all these guys.
Stanton lines one into left, another hit for Giancarlo, another run for Miami. Ozuna to third, Stanton to second, and the Rob Nen magic works again. It's amazing how you used to prevent runs.
I can give up. I can give them up too. Trust me.
You're our offensive charm tonight. Goodness.
And a breaking ball, Stanton.
Well, it's the approach. Look at this, straight through it, waiting. Great job keeping the balance back. Remember the double he just hit on a changeup away to right field. Gets something he can pull right there and finds himself another double.
So to capsulize, you were just finishing up. If you gave it up and a guy beat your best pitch, you're better than you're okay with that, as opposed to walk a guy, stolen base.
Yeah, there's no defense for walking guys, and everybody knows that I was the slowest guy coming to home plate. So basically, if it was a walk, it was a double. Guys are standing on second base. I don't care who it was. So for me, it was, you know, now all of a sudden I kind of got my back up against the wall. So that was the hard part for me. So I knew I had to go out and throw strikes. I had to try to get ahead of guys, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. But you know, if I kind of went out there and was all over the place, that was hard for me. You know, and I used it the next day. If it was, you know, if it was like I say, a home run to somebody and it tied the game, you listen, more power to you. You did your job. I went out and tried to do my job. But so that I kind of left over, and it was over quick. The days that I went out and struggled and, you know, kind of all over the place and didn't do it the right way, it carried on, you know, till the next day. And I used it the next day to basically say I embarrassed myself, I embarrassed the team, I embarrassed the city. So I used it kind of fuel for the next day, and I want to get in the game, and I want to change stuff.
Board takes in. Miami has 8 runs on 9 hits. Stanton with 2 RBI doubles. Bohr against the lefty Julio Urias had an RBI single. The Dodgers, in their 3 innings at the plate, have yet to dent Dan Straley. A walk is it, but no hits and no runs. And Bohr can't check his swing there. And the count's 2-2.
Well, I'm not going to sit up here and dare insinuate that last night meant something, but I can't help but feel like last night maybe meant something as far as this Marlins offense coming together. I mean, the approach tonight, the at-bats, this is what I remember from the first 2.5, 3 weeks of the season. I mean, just long, lengthy at-bats, working, fouling off tough pitches, just extending at-bats right now.
Bohr swings and misses, and Avila gets a strikeout. Rob Nen, our guest, final moments with him.
Catcher JT Real Muto.
Now, once your kids are grown and gone, would you like to coach? Would you like to get back in uniform?
I don't know. You know, the game's different. It's definitely a different game now. And I mean, you guys watched up here, and, you know, from the replay to you know, not taking guys out at second base and you know, not taking guys out at home plate. It's a different game, and you know, it's still a great game. Whether you like the old game or the new game, it's still a great game, and it's still you know, something I care about and something that's always going to be my life. But I'm not sure if I want to really get back on the field and get back into the coaching part of all that stuff. So for right now, we'll just kind of see where it goes. I've got a few more years until my youngest one's out of school, and you know, we'll go from there.
All right, well, pitching change here. We'll take a timeout. You've got like 2 more pitches before you're done here in this one. 8-0 Miami. Stadium, 8-0 Miami on top, and whatever emotions bubbled up last night have spilled out here all over Chavez Ravine. Josh Fields is in the ball game, second appearance of this series. Marlins have runners second and third, with Giancarlo Stanton at second, Ozuna at third, and Real Muto takes out. Now we always ask and think about, okay, what did Rob Nen do against you, or maybe Preston Wilson or Jeff Conine, some of our other analysts that are part of our show. So our research department put together your resume against that trio.
I know it wasn't pretty for me.
Oh, I hope I got Conine out a bunch.
You got me out a bunch. I think I got you maybe one time.
All right, here it is.
What do we got?
You never faced Conine.
Yeah, there you go.
Holly, you were 1 for 12.
I made it count, though. I made the one count.
Look at Preston, 0 for 9 with 3 punch-outs.
Yeah. We didn't do anything. Well, 1 homer. There you go.
Trust me, they weren't comfortable, you know, guys facing. I know that for a fact.
Come on.
I think I remember doing it. For some reason, I feel like I remember it was at Candlestick, I think. How many years did you pitch at Candlestick?
98 to 02.
Right, so there was a few years there. I think I got you at Candlestick, but I remember thinking that I had gotten ahead and that you threw the home run off my bat. It wasn't like it was me doing the work. You did the work. I remember thinking, I'm just going to swing. It's 2-0 when he's got my number. I think I was already like 0 for 9 against you.
You know,
I just guessed. This
game's not easy. You know, like I say, facing big league hitters and going out there every day and having a chance to face guys that know how to play the game, that play the game the right way. For me, that was the best part about it, and having a chance to face guys like you and Niner and Preston. It was awesome.
Who was your kryptonite? Was there one hitter that got you more than other and wasn't a
there's no such kryptonite for this guy,
an all-star guy?
You know, there was a bunch of them. A lot of them were the second basemen, kind of the guys that
that's right, baby.
The guys that
represent.
I don't believe
could
a word
slap
this
the ball
saying.
the other way. But the main guy was Chipper Jones. Chipper was tough on me. He was a guy that could hit a home run in certain times, and he'd look for it, or he'd go the other way with a slider if I kind of left it out there. And for me, he was tough.
I can just see us tomorrow, seriously. 3rd inning, tie game. Joining us now on the phone is Rob Nen. Miami needs a run.
I'm online. Just call me.
We will make that happen.
We'll FaceTime you. Real Muto into right field. Isn't this Rob Nen incredible? Another run. Real Muto an RBI single, and Miami stretches the lead even further now to 9-0. Normally, we'll have a guest on, and it's like a 1-2-3 inning. And it's, hi, how are you?
You guys are trying to find stuff to talk about now.
Good to see you. No, you don't know what we've been through.
Well, we could have asked you down to Miami and thrown you in the Fox den.
Yes, that's true.
We chose not to.
Listen, I love Miami. It's a great place to go.
The Real Muto with an RBI single, and here is Dietrich. 4 runs in that third, 2 more here in the fourth. Dietrich has tripled and flied out, and he pops it up. Grandal makes the catch. Rob Nen, it's actually it's sad to say goodbye after what we've seen here tonight.
We need more runs. You got to stay.
These guys will keep doing it. They look like they're swinging the ball real well today.
Thank you for the
appreciate you, Rob. Thanks for coming up here, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
All right, and hope traffic clears for you on the way back home.
It's all good.
9-0. Marlins Angels 4:10 start. Special event ticket for Beer Fest gets you a Beer Fest mini mug and a sampling of international, domestic, and local craft beers. Get your tickets, marlins.com/special events for Beer Fest. We just had Rob Nen Fest. Hey, Rally Cat. I'm assuming that's Rally Cat, right?
It was Rally Cat. Of course it was. Yes.
No longer the cat in center field, but the cat on the hat.
Well, now I get it. Rally Cat was here tonight.
So Rob Nen and Rally Cat. Good combination
got it working
for Miami. Dodgers to work here. Dan Straley gets Corey Seager, Cody Bellinger, Yasmani Grandal. And a changeup from Dan Straley is outside. Run support. Straley's had very little of it in his last 4 starts. Just 8 runs total. It's one of the reasons he's 1-3. And he misses and walks Seager. Dodgers' second base runner, second walk.
35.
For Straley, he's actually had to deal with longer delays in between innings than he's used to, and I think that's maybe what you saw a little bit of right there. He's been so dominant against this Dodgers lineup, but again, his break time in between innings has been about double tonight. All this Marlins offense.
Now Bellinger, and he takes a fastball for a strike. Bellinger didn't get here until April 25th, which makes his 8 home runs, 23 driven in. his .651 slugging percentage and his .365 on base, all the more impressive. Big swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. Well, for Miami, 9 runs in 4 innings. Bellinger to left. Ozuna is there, and he makes the catch. And back to first base goes Kyle Seager.
And that's a great example right there, what Dan Straley does to hitters.
Number 9, Yasmani Grandal.
You expand their strike zone, pitch out of the zone. If you can just foul it off or defend it, you find yourself popping it up a lot of times.
Keep in mind that the Marlins, in their last 5 games, and they've, wow, isn't that great? I love LA. Their last 5 games, the Marlins have scored just 8 runs. So in 4 innings to get 9 runs, it has to be some sort of catharsis here in the dirt. And Real Muto knocks it down.
I don't want this to sound twisted in any way, because I love home runs just like the next guy, but this offense hasn't been a result of the long ball. I mean, this is just so good to see from these Marlins hitters tonight. As I said just an inning ago, long, lengthy at bat, deep counts. They're really working hard tonight. And Straley's being crisp, making pitches. Great changeup right there tonight.
5 strikeouts for Straley. We told you about that start last year. That was really when he just started to turn it around for the Reds. He struck out 11 here. Walked just 1. He did give up 3 runs and lost the ball game, but in 7 innings, the 11 punch outs. Little busted bat over to third, and Dietrich is there to make the catch. And some bad contact mixed in. Here's Adrian Gonzalez.
So amazing to see Dan Straley work tonight.
Gonzalez.
People around baseball, and I keep hearing this number. Everybody wants to talk about the batting average against Dan Straley. You know, how is it that, you know, he's throwing 91, 92 miles an hour, that he's given up a 160 batting average against coming into the night? And when you see him every 5 days, it's really not that hard to pick up on. You watch hitters, they change their swings. He's got so much late movement that they have to manipulate their hands and their bodies to try to make contact, and you see bad contact an awful lot. See Grandal right there. Comes into tonight's ballgame as one of the hottest hitters for this Dodgers team, and just gets eaten up by an 86-mile-an-hour breaking ball.
Gonzalez pops it back into the seats, and that's an area where we usually see Tommy Lasorda. And the news this afternoon that Tommy Lasorda has been hospitalized. The Dodgers issuing a statement that confirmed that report. And their statement said this: Hall of Fame Dodger manager Tommy Lasorda has been hospitalized. He is resting comfortably and appreciates all the support. And a swing and a miss there, and we certainly give our support and prayers. Hopefully the former Dodger skipper, your manager, is out soon. Southwest, transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jeep, get great deals on the Jeep lineup at the Jeep Spring Clearance event. And by the Florida Department of Transportation, reminding you, drive sober or get pulled over. And by your local Toyota dealers, let's go places. Santa Monica Pier here in Southern California, 9-0 Marlins. Let's check in with Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Rich, I found some members of the Fish family, some very happy Marlins fans in this suite tonight. You guys love the way the team is playing in this one? I'm joined by Judy. Her company has been season ticket holders with the Marlins since the new ballpark opened. And it's obviously great to go to games at Marlins Park, but how cool is it to come to a game on the road as well?
It's really, really cool. We're really enjoying it. It's our first away game with the Marlins.
What else have you guys done since you've been in Los Angeles?
We've been to Warner Brothers Studios. We went to Beverly Hills, just shopping around, having a great time.
Marlins putting on a show tonight in this one. What do you love most about this game so far?
The most is my fellow Fish family. They are really happy tonight. It's a big difference.
Yeah, you can hear it, Rich. All of the enthusiasm up here in the suites. These Marlins fans are really enjoying their experience tonight.
JT Riddle to right field. And right now the kid is really swinging it. Riddle has singled, doubled, and now homered. He is a triple shy of the cycle.
Well, I so badly want to call him the kid, but he's not the kid. He's the man right now, for crying out loud. Have a week, JT Riddle, swinging the bat. Holy cow.
So a solo homer, and it's 10-0 Miami.
Plus the kid is junior, so I can't really go there.
Yeah.
Copyright.
Well, I'll call him the kid. So Riddle has knocked in 4 of Miami's 10 runs. And Straley, a sacrifice bunt and a strikeout. So the Marlins have finally hit a home run after the longest time of only hitting home runs to get runs.
I wasn't going to complain for the drought on home runs.
10-0 tonight. Tomorrow, Craig Minervini, Preston Wilson, and the South Florida Honda dealers get you ready for Dodgers and Marlins. Preview of Inside the Marlins, Christian Yelich, California kid, Game 4 from Tinseltown. Yeah, that really stirred it up last night. And the Marlins tonight taking the frustrations out on the Dodgers. D. Gordon, little dribbler up the first base line. Fields rather, to first in time. And Gordon is out.
Number 21, Christian Yelich.
To get Gordon, and here is Yelich, who's walked twice.
Good at bats, also lined out to third base. It's Urias. Good quality at bats tonight, really top to bottom in this lineup, this Marlins team. Man, oh man, they just busted out collectively, and that's what's so good to talk about tonight. It's how collective these efforts have been.
Yelich is the only regular without a hit.
It's ready to do something about that.
Ball into strike. Giancarlo Stanton is driven in 3. Got a couple doubles. Yelich sprays one to short. Seager loads up and throws him out. Marlins add a run. JT Riddle, second major league homer. Breaking ball, and he lost it. field. Not necessarily puppy love, but some gentle playfulness out there. Unlike the Marlins and the Dodgers last night, which was a little more heated. Rich Waltz along with Todd Hollandsworth. Jessica Blaylock is here as well. John Solser is our award-winning producer. Christian Roberts, critically acclaimed director. Ken Lee is our generally well-regarded graphics coordinator. Dietrich crossed the diamond in time. And Taylor is out. Geico presents this Major League Moments. 2009. That ties Babe Ruth, second all-time on this date in 2009. And he did it in Oakland. And that's where the Marlins are headed next. Jock Peterson swings and misses.
He's looking to make it 10-1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Well, the last 2 starts for Dan Straley have been terrific. Obviously, the Houston start was cut short by the Evan Gattis line drive. But the start before that was 7 innings against the Cardinals, and he gave up just a run. And no decision. Marlins blew that ball game late and lost it 6-5. Pop up, Riddle out, Ozuna in, and Ozuna makes the catch.
Just watch Dan Straley navigate this Dodgers lineup. Fastballs at the top of the zone, getting pop-ups, change-ups. It's been so amazing, really, what Dan has been able to accomplish. Like tonight, for example, we raved about his slider. We were talking about it with Rob Nen. He's thrown more change-ups tonight. He's getting swing and misses on the changeup. It's down in the zone. He's using it against the left-handed hitters. I mean, that goes to show you what Dan Straley's capable of doing.
Kike Hernandez struck out back in the 3rd. Hernandez left center field. Well hit. Ozuna. And he won't get it. It's gone. Dodgers' first hit in first run is a solo shot by Kike Hernandez.
Now Dan Straley, we rave about his slider. This one backs up. You see what it does? He just spins out of his hand and doesn't get down. Look at that, rolls up there. It's called a rolling slider. Okay, Hernandez, we talk about that new leg kick he's using this year. Gets his front foot down on time and doesn't miss it. Gutierrez on the pitch hit for the Dodgers.
So Dodgers are on the board. Gutierrez in the pitcher spot. We saw him get a start in last night's ball game. The Dodgers have Pedro Baez up. One and 2 with 2 outs.
Nice try right there by Dan. Gutierrez has not been able to catch up to his fastball yet. See if he chooses to go with the fastball at the top of the strike zone, which he's done so effectively tonight with that slider low and away.
There's the slider, and just a dive bomber of a pitch. Dodgers finally on the board, but Miami is up 10-1.
Fans get a save.
Is brought to you by Jeep. Get great deals on the Jeep lineup at the Jeep Spring Clearance event. By your South Florida Chevy dealers. And by Publix, where shopping is a pleasure. In Los Angeles, where they drive fast here. Remember last night, Don Mattingly and the Fish beaten by the Dodgers. Tonight, our Coors Light Cold Hard Fact. Time of possession. This was just for you.
That's right. I feel responsible for this.
Marlins an hour and 2 minutes at bat. The Dodgers 23 minutes.
Love it.
And those numbers have been so lopsided the other direction.
Yes, they have.
For the last 3.5 weeks.
Well, take that in. I mean, think that out. I mean, parents, you watch your kids play ball. I mean, we watch this Marlins team an awful lot. When that number should be almost theoretically balanced in some ways. Of course, the team that's going to score more runs usually is going to hit a little bit longer. But look at tonight, 10-1 ball game. Marlins have been at bat twice as long as the Dodgers. It's 3 times as long. You see Pedro Baez's numbers, 1.10 ERA. Now the only runs he's given up are a couple of solo homers. His own right-handed hitters, to the tune of a 108 batting average against.
And Baez has been a really nice part of the back end of the bullpen.
Now,
so
got a huge arm. He's got 2 breaking pitches. Throws a slider and a changeup. Saw that slider first pitch. Throws it about 87 miles an hour, but he backs it up with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball.
He's not worked in this series, so for Dave Roberts, it's a chance to give him a little bit of work. Ozuna, Stanton, and then Bohr.
They get an inning of work from just about everybody in the Dodgers bullpen tonight. They do not do what the Marlins have done in the past. They carry a more traditional bullpen in that they carry their extra man on the bench.
Well, with the starting rotation the Dodgers have, they can afford to do that.
Yeah, 7-man bullpen.
A rotation that's been able to get deep in games. Ozuna strikes out. And the Dodger starting rotation
number 27,
leads the National League in wins, in WHIP, walks, hits, innings pitched, 1.19. Second in ERA, second in strikeouts. Opponent's OPS, the lowest in the National League. So a lot of good things are happening in that rotation, and that's allowed the bullpen to use just the 7 guys. Stanton takes up Now, Giancarlo's night so far. He's driven in a run with each swing. Fielder's choice back in the first. RBI double in the third. RBI double in the fourth.
Using the entire field tonight. A double to right, double to left to follow that up. The Marlins have scored in each of the first 5 innings tonight for the 8th time in club history. Last time was April 30th of 2016, so really good to see this lineup bust out tonight.
Baez, and a nasty breaking ball.
Partner, have you ever heard that Coors Field can screw you up? You heard that before? Have you ever heard pitchers complain about it?
Well, look, I've heard not only pitchers, but I've heard from other players, position players, that a series in Denver, if you're not used to it, can affect you for the next week.
Well, I know Urias, it's not the first time he's pitched at altitude, certainly in Denver, but his first 3 starts of the season, a 1.06 ERA. 2 starts ago was at Coors Field. With tonight, last 2 starts, 17.05.
Three-two pitch coming. Stanton hammers it center field, and it's over the head of Peterson. And Stanton is in there with his 3rd double. And that was an absolute BB to center. And at first glance, Peterson thought maybe he'd have a chance for it. And then in the blink of an eye, it was over his head.
How about this? 1 step over and 15 steps back. Yeah, he thought about it for about half a second, considered who hit this one. Squares it up to center field. How about Giancarlo Stanton finding that stroke tonight? A double to right, a double to left, and now a double to center field. Boy, have the bats come alive. Good to see.
Justin Bour now. Bour an RBI single in the 3rd, and that was against the lefty Julio Urias. Toyota gives you an inside look. Justin Bour, last 9 games, only the 2nd left-handed batter to go for 6 homers in 9 games. Cliff Floyd did it 9 times.
What?
9 times Cliff Floyd had 6 homers in a 9-game clip. That's unbelievable.
I'm gonna have to get on Cliffy about that. What is that all about? That's at least 54 homers. I didn't think Cliffy was that kind of streaky home run hitter, but those numbers certainly tell you he was a little bit.
Bour chasing a fastball at 97. A ball and a strike. The numbers against lefties continue to climb for Bour. And of course, that was a real question mark going into the season. He chases that fastball that ran out, and it's 1-2. Well, here's the breakdown now. Against lefties, couple homers, now 7 runs driven in. Two balls and 2 strikes.
Justin Bour has been really game planning well through this hot stretch, not missing his pitch. When I say not missing your pitch, it's also working to get your pitch and understanding that too.
Baez hoping he would chase a fastball again.
I'm going to say it for the first time this year because the at-bats collectively have been so good. Fish ain't bite.
That's the first time?
Yeah, it's the first time I've done it this year. I mean, it's in the book, but try not to use it too much. I mean, it's always there, you know.
3-2. Bohr turns around a fastball, center field. Peterson is there, and he makes the catch. Hit it hard, but hit it right at Jock Peterson.
Number 11,
and up comes JT Realmuto. JT has an RBI single, walked and scored in the third, and has bounced out. Marlins tomorrow against the Dodgers. Marlins will see finally a right-hander, Brandon McCarthy. And the Marlins have not announced or made it official yet. The good possibility is that Vance Worley will make his Marlins debut and start tomorrow afternoon. Roster move today. Odrisamer Despaigne sent to New Orleans, and Vance Worley called up. Worley 139 major league games. See an ERA at 3.75. And Don Mattingly would not say that Worley was starting tomorrow because he wanted to see what happened in tonight's game. And some of that may have had to do with the right forearm of Dan Straley.
Well,
if that forearm had given Straley some issues, if it had tightened up, there's a possibility that Worley may have jumped into the battle here. But Straley looks great. He's given up just a run on one hit, and it's 10-1. So you could probably pencil Vance Worley in right now. There's an old Dodger fan. Whatever frustrations or emotions bubbled up last night, the Marlins have taken them out on the baseball and on the Dodgers here tonight. Rich Waltz, Todd Hollinsworth, Jessica Blaylock, Late Night with the Fish, and Dan Straley has been super. A Kike Hernandez home run last inning was the first hit and the first run for the Dodgers. Utley pulls one foul. Corey Seager, Cody Bellinger, left-handed bats all out against Straley, but it hasn't seemed to bother Dan.
No, Dan's in a good spot right now. Good rhythm. You can go back to his last start. The only question tonight was he going to be phased by that line drive off the forearm? Was that going to affect him at all? And that's probably more for us than for Dan. Talked to Dan on the bus on the way over. He was in a good frame of mind, ready to go tonight.
back on the West Coast. Springfield, Oregon is home. He had that fascinating journey through college baseball. Utley to right. Stanton looking up into the Los Angeles Knights. Makes the catch. Straley at Thurston High School in Springfield, Oregon. He's the first player from his high school to ever get to the big leagues. He wanted to go to Oregon State, but they didn't recruit him, so he ended up at a smaller division school, Western Oregon University, and quickly realized that he was probably better suited to a higher level.
Well, he's continued to answer that question throughout his career.
And he was looking for another school to pitch, and so he had some friends that had played at Marshall University, which is in Huntington, West Virginia. Hopped on a plane and flew to Huntington, liked it, pitched there. Oakland took him in the 24th round. So he by no means was a guy that was handed things as he came up in the Oakland organization.
Oh no, if you talk to Dan about his story, heard that word no an awful lot more than the word yes. I mean, that just did not happen. He was constantly being told your fastball's not fast enough, your slider doesn't slide enough, your changeup doesn't dive enough. And he's continued to work to get better. He's even made the extra effort. Talked about Driveline, going the extra mile to find his career.
Little looper down the left field line, and it falls fair and bounces up into the seats. And Corey Seager gets a bloop double.
Well, Dan Straley does everything he can to make the pitch. You see it right here. Even the doubles are ugly, for crying out loud. That's no man's land over there. Seager will certainly take it. Any hitter would. 12th double of the season for Corey Seager. For Dan Straley, just continues to make pitches.
Here's Bellinger, who's been a first baseman coming up. But the Dodgers, with Adrian Gonzalez off the disabled list, have moved Bellinger out to play a little left field. And breaking ball's a strike. And if Bellinger keeps hitting like he's hitting, he may not get pushed off first base much longer.
You find a spot for a bat like this in your lineup. When you see this type of production, he's essentially forcing his way into the everyday lineup. But not that he hasn't done it already. You know, with a few of the injuries that they have, yes, they can accommodate it. But when everybody gets back and healthy and he's still doing this, he's going to be playing.
Now, Dave Roberts in this series has lost in night one Justin Turner. There's Adrian Gonzalez, who's been a big part of this ball club for the last 5 years. Justin Turner with a hamstring injury on the disabled list. And of course, Yasiel Puig last night is day-to-day with some issues in his back.
Right. And Puig's comments last night, didn't think he was going to need a trip to the DL. In fact, went as far as saying he needs to get back on the field immediately because he plans on being in Miami for the All-Star game.
I love that part of the quote.
I did, but you know what else I thought? And here's a point, and I think it's a good one. This Dodgers team is rolling right now. They're playing pretty good baseball.
Bellinger goes down and lines it to center. Yelich plays it on a hop. Seager holds at third.
Piece of hitting right there by Bellinger. The point I'll make is this: they've got a lot of internal competition going on right now, and I kind of felt that in what Puig said as well. And I thought, it's kind of interesting. I know that's not where he was going, but I kind of was thinking it. You know, there's nothing where, like, you've only got 3 outfield spots. You get to start 3 outfielders. When a young man like this comes up and play, I mean, any manager wants to play the young kid who's playing great right now, and that is a great position for an organization to be in when you've got so much good internal competition. Guys, you know, you look at the guy next to you, well, he's playing all-star baseball. You look over to your right, well, he's playing all-star baseball too. I better get my rear in gear. You know what I mean?
Grandal now. It's nice symmetry that on this trip the Marlins will see Yasmani Grandal and then Yonder Alonso. The two guys out of Miami and University of Miami, who were linked with their major league teams for a couple different stops, Cincinnati and San Diego.
I'm really looking forward to seeing Yonder Alonso because of this new offensive approach. I mean, he's off to an incredible start this year. I think as of the last time I looked, and maybe he's homered today, but he's got 12 home runs already.
That one is stroked hard into the corner. Stanton to get it. Racing for third is Bellinger. He'll stop there. And Grandal has an RBI double. And so the Dodgers, for the first time, have strung together hits and made it a 10-2 ball game.
Well, you see that right there. We talked so much about how much he's used this changeup tonight and how it's been dive bombing at the plate. Right there, that one doesn't bottom out quite as much as Dan Straily wants. It hangs more over the middle of the plate. And now and again, Dan gets into one of these patterns where you'll see a 2-3 hits in a row, and hopefully he can get himself out of it, because I think Don Mattingly would love a lengthy start tonight. His pitch count's still pretty reasonable at 84 pitches, and he's throwing the ball well with a large lead.
Brad Ziegler first to warm up. Now here is Adrian Gonzalez. You have to think that Adrian Gonzalez is going to start to hit for a little more power than he has so far. Hasn't homered, has 5 doubles. He's 0 for 2 tonight. He certainly had that swing there. This is a guy that hit 18 home runs last season and has been an all-star 5 times. The last time was just 2 years ago in 2015.
This backup slider right there by Dan Straily. Get ahead of Gonzalez 0-2.
High fastball, and that is fouled out of play. Adrian Gonzalez got to the big leagues with Texas first in 04. Ross Stripling, everybody knows Ross Stripling by now. He's in the bullpen. 308 home runs in his career, 420 doubles. He swings and misses, and Straily gets a strikeout. 2 outs here in the 6th.
Great sequencing right there by Dan Straily. After getting ahead with a fastball away and a breaking ball away, went up with the fastball and then back down with the slider. Nice job making his pitch right there to pick up a big out for Dan.
Eight strikeouts now for Straily. And here's Chris Taylor. Taylor has walked. Certainly enjoying his best run in the big leagues in his last 3 weeks. Well, it's Saturday night, so you know there's been a lot of baseball played, and out here on the West Coast there are just 3 games left, and they are all lopsided. 10-2 here. Marlins on top of the Dodgers. 15-1. The White Sox are beating Seattle in Seattle. 8-0. Arizona on top of the Padres, down I-5 in San Diego. I feel like I've let everybody down. We haven't had a reference to the Californians yet.
Nice slider. Stan's in position to wiggle out of this little mess here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Certainly wants to keep things in check. You see the score 10-2, but really wants the runners on 2nd and 3rd right where they're at.
This is certainly his most stressful inning. And the pitch count at 92 is a good possibility his last inning. And Taylor shoots it up into the seats. Big crowd tonight. This still, capacity-wise, is an enormous ballpark.
Pack it out quite often. Full house tonight.
Levels upon levels upon levels. You talk about going from the minor leagues to the major leagues and having to play with an upper deck. Well, when you come to Dodger Stadium, you've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 decks. Realmuto got a piece of it. And the very upper reaches behind home plate. Way up. Look at it. See, there's a lower level, then the next level. Press box level. Next level, and then the very top up by that Dodgers logo. We were up there last night exiting the ballpark out into the parking lot there. And looking down from that level, it is steep and it is way up there.
It's been intimidating, no doubt. Still one of the most beautiful ballparks in all of baseball.
1962, it has been able to hold on to its charm and modernize at the same time.
Right. I think that's what's so impressive about this facility. Enough things remind you of the history in the past, yet there's enough of the modern amenities that keep the attention span of your normal Dodger fan.
And of course, there's that, the Dodger Dogs.
Well, that'll keep you coming back all the time. Not to mention the fact that it's Dodger Dog Day.
Is it Dodger Dog Day today?
Yeah, bring your dog.
Oh, that's right. It's Bark at the Park.
Bark at the Park. Is that what everybody calls it? Bark at the Park?
Do the Dodger Dogs get to eat the Dodger Dogs?
They want.
Right field line. That ball is foul. Yes, it has been Bark at the Park. The dogs are actually out in the pavilion or the bleachers. Not those Dodger dogs. Those are all around the ballpark.
That dog would definitely have a Dodger dog.
It's a pretty happy dog.
Getting a lot of love right now.
Pups at the Park is the name of the Dodger promotion. Bark at the Park for the Marlins. June 3rd. That is the same night as the Giancarlo Stanton bobbleheads. 3-2. Australia had to make a lot of pitches to Taylor there, and he loads the bases. And here comes Jock Peterson.
I'll tell you what, Taylor, some kind of locked in right now. We've talked to you tonight about the run he's been on base percentage over the last 18 or so ball games, right near 500. Might be the most impressive at bat by a Dodger hitter tonight.
And Don Mattingly is on his way out. And at 98 pitches, Dan Straley is going to come out of this ball game. Brad Ziegler in, and will step aside. now it's the bullpen's turn. Dan Straley leaves after giving up a run on 3 hits and a walk here in the 6th. And Brad Ziegler is out with 2 outs to try to get Jock Peterson.
Pitched his scoreless inning his last time out, May 17th against the Houston Astros. Called upon to get a big out for Dan Straley, his outing. Leaves the bases loaded. Ends up comfortably 10-2, but this is a big out, certainly as far as momentum. Here in the beginning, middle of the game.
And the pitch goes behind Peterson. A run scores. Brad Ziegler comes in and completely misses everything. And it's 10-3.
Just as quickly as I got it out of my mouth right there, you look at that, all the way behind Peterson with the bases loaded. JT unable to get anything on it. This is way outside. The Dodgers able to pick up their 3rd run. Brad Ziegler, he's going to have to bear down right here and still make a pitch.
Grandal at 3rd, Taylor at 2nd. And there is strike 1 from Ziegler.
Ziggs had great career numbers against the Dodgers. Remember, he was out here in the West quite some time. 1.71 ERA.
Misses in. See the career numbers. 4 saves. Game number 45. An athletic, and of course a lot of games with the Diamondbacks.
I know that pitch right there takes the count to 3-1, but it's one of the better sliders I've seen out of Ziegler's hands over the last few outings. That had the bite that he normally has, that little quick darting action that he likes to have. Still a pretty good pitch.
Strike at the knees with a little bit of run to it.
Yeah, you got to remember with Ziegler, this isn't about velocity. This isn't about what he's going to dial it up to or how many extra miles an hour he can find somewhere. It's about late movement with Ziegler. He can get that back. He'll start getting those ground balls more consistently.
You got Peterson off to a slow start, has just a home run. See what he gets. 3-2. Soft, shallow right. Gordon is there, and he has it. Well, the Dodgers put up 2 more, but Miami leads it 10-3. Watch party is tomorrow at Sports Grill of Kendall. Marlins and Dodgers at 4:10. DJ Vertigo with the music. Billy is the Goodwill ambassador. Food and drink specials are there. Marlins.com. Good time to head to the Sports Grill of Kendall. Dan Straley has his stuff, heads into the clubhouse, I'm sure, to get a little ice on everything. Dodgers a couple of changes. Brett Eibner is in center field, and Ross Stripling is on the mound. Stripling, of course, last night threw behind Giancarlo Stanton. He was immediately ejected, and the resulting rhubarb, Don Mattingly and Bob Guerin were ejected. If you weren't with us at the outset of the telecast, Don Mattingly and Bob Guerin both came with the lineup cards. Both had a long conversation. The four umpires that were there simply listened. And then when the game started, the Marlins exploded and jumped all over the Dodgers, getting 1 in the first, 2 in the second, 4 in the third, 2 in the fourth, and 1 more in the fifth.
That meeting at home plate, would you agree, Rich? My interpretation was they both made their points and they agreed to disagree.
Yeah, it was not a kiss and make up.
No, I don't think so.
It was, hey, this is how I feel. Hey, this is how I feel. All right,
okay.
Go get him.
All right, good luck. Yep, moving on.
Dave Roberts has kind of treated this game as a bullpen game after the exit of Julio Urias. And Derek Dietrich lines it to left. All right, this is before the game. Don Mattingly did his talking first. Now remember, those two were teammates with the Yankees. Bob Guerin said his piece. Fascinating stuff. This is one of those times where you wish you had mic'd one of the umpires and you could turn it up and listen.
Well, you don't see that very often. I mean, that's what's so unique about how this even developed. I mean, it wasn't Dave Roberts, obviously. Guerin and Mattingly. I don't know if this was planned or pre-planned, or I really find it hard to almost believe that it would have been.
Little tapper towards second. Utley fires to first. And it's the first time the Dodgers have retired JT Riddle in the ball game, and now Riddle is 3 for 4.
The circumstances turned into this, and I just think both were able to make their points and successfully move on. I don't think there was any hints of anything in tonight's ball game that would have led us to believe there's bad blood between these two teams. Just merely going about their business.
Ichiro gets a pinch hit against Stripling. And a breaking ball misses down low. Ichiro trying to get going. It's been tough. The combination of health in the outfield, which is good, and 23-game slide where the Marlins have won just 4 games means fewer at-bats for guys like Ichiro. Because as a manager, you're more likely to give your regulars an off day if the ball club's in a good spot or is in a good rhythm and is winning games. When you have a team that's had the run like the Marlins, Todd, it's hard for a manager to not put his best team on the field every day.
Well, even up until tonight's ball game, you know, so much of the offense has been the homers.
Ichiro soft line drive, and Miami is done in the 7th inning stretch. Dodger Stadium, and a 10-3 Miami lead. On television, you can stream them on your mobile device with Fox Sports Go. Just download the app, take Fox Sports Florida and Marlins baseball with you wherever you go. Bottom 7, Dodger Stadium. Dodger dogs have been consumed. Marlins have finally flexed some offensive muscle here with a 10-run, 12-hit attack highlighted by JT Riddle's 4 RBIs, homer double triple, or excuse me, homer double single, triple shy of the cycle is Riddle. Giancarlo Stanton has 3 doubles in the ballgame. Kike Hernandez and Harlan Garcia. Garcia misses. And it's 1-0 to Kike, who homered in the 5th. That was the first hit that Dan Straley allowed. And so 5 2/3 for Straley. That White Sox game is 15-1 in the bottom of the 8th. And we need to check and see if any position players have pitched for either team, really. Not yet. Well, that's no fun.
You like to see the position players getting lit up or dealing?
I like to see them get in there. Kike Hernandez with a base hit.
Two-hit night for Hernandez. Was able to get himself ahead in the count. Earned himself a 3-1 fastball right there. Doesn't miss it. Drives it back from the middle. Second hit of the ballgame.
This is a Brett Eibner at bat now. He came in the double switch. And then you got top of the order. Teams in the East. The Braves beat the Nationals 5-2. That was in Atlanta. The Braves are now 4 under, 18-22. They have been playing much better. The Marlins saw that when Atlanta took 2 of 3 in Miami. Mets beat the Angels 7-5. And the Phillies lost to Pittsburgh 6-3.
Nice try by Garcia right there after 2 or 3 wild ones to begin the bat against Hernandez. Has kind of found his rhythm here. Certainly wants to keep things in check. Marlins have a 7-run lead here in the 7th inning, but still a lot of ball game to be played.
Eibner hit a 2-run homer yesterday. And of course he was hit by AJ Ramos. And that started the sequence of events that caused both dugouts to empty. The most vocal and the most physical in the fracas, or whatever you want to call it, were the coaching staffs, kind of the old school guys. Yeah, Bob Guerin was in there. Tim Wallach was in there. There's AJ down in the bullpen. AJ said that nobody said a word to him. He was out there too.
A lot of times so much of that gets lost in translation. What the other team thinks they are experiencing Isn't always the case. A lot of times it is, but it isn't always the case.
I've always felt that in that situation, you should send out an emissary, right? Send each team gets one guy that goes out, not to fight, but at least to negotiate for.
Right.
Right.
Negotiate this.
Right.
Or wait, before this is what you're. Right.
So
let's talk about it first.
Let's talk about it first, because you got both dugouts coming out, then you got the bullpens coming out.
Well,
now look, if these two negotiators can't get it straight, hey, why did you do it? Well, we were upset at this.
Right.
Oh, well, we were upset at this. All right, well, we didn't mean to do that. We didn't mean to do that. All right, good talk. Or if they don't agree, then everybody can come out on the field.
I was just say, right, what's next if they don't agree?
Just give those first guys like 45 seconds to try to settle it.
Well, just put a little cage over here, and just instead of having 50 guys on the field, just each team gets to pick one guy. Dodgers can probably pick Kenley Jansen, and Marlins will pick Stanton, and they can jump in the ring. And honestly, I think the fans would probably find that somewhat entertaining.
Yeah, well, then you would then we'd be back like the old either Gladiator movies or Slapshot,
right?
Where the Hanson brothers are carried by some
designated goons.
Show up in someone's bullpen for a night. Utley, line to the right, Stanton is there and makes the catch. But your point's a really good one, in that there's a lot of confusion as to why somebody did something or what was the meaning behind that.
Shortstop number 5, Corey Seager.
And through my 12 years at the major league level, a lot of times what happens is, you know, a team, and this didn't happen necessarily last night. I don't want anybody to read into this, but I definitely see it enough times to bring it up, is that I talk about lost in translation, or even a team defending somebody who's doing something quite deliberate, and it's like 24 guys are, defending the guy who's throwing the ball at somebody's head.
Well, in that case, you send that guy out as the emissary.
Right, but it never happens that way, and that's the point. It never goes that way.
And that's a great point. And I've been in this game long enough where there are guys that you don't necessarily really want to fight for, but you have it's part of the deal. You got to go out and protect your own.
I remember one of I can't remember if it was my 5th or 6th year here in Los Angeles, we having a nasty one with the Mariners right before the All-Star break. Frankie Rodriguez was his name. I remember him hitting Mark Grudzielanek. It was quite, there's some pretty obvious intent. Led to just an absolute melee. It went on for like 30 minutes. He didn't get ejected, so he gets right back up on the mound after the 30 minutes, and it does it again. And we emptied him again and went at it for another 15 minutes. I told you that's where I introduced myself to Jay Buhner. I said, hey, how you doing? Okay. Nice to meet you. I'll just behave myself.
Did you tell him you went to Newport High School in Bellevue,
no, I
which
didn't.
is
I just,
in the Seattle area?
I
might have cooled him down.
I tried to.
He's not a guy you want to dance with.
I just tried to steer clear is what I tried to do. Yeah, I wasn't trying to cause trouble.
Seager with the count 2-2. And a breaking ball from Garcia's in. A double, a walk, and a strikeout for Seager tonight. Dodgers 5 hits with their 3 runs. White Sox just added an insurance run in the top of the 9th. It's 16-1. Liner, left center, and deep, and that's going to get out. Opposite field, Corey Seager. And the Dodgers get a little bit closer. It's now 10-5.
Seager's going to get an elevated fastball right there. Misses the spot. Ends up out over the plate as opposed to low and away, and stays inside it. Seager does that quite often, especially against lefties. Likes to stay in that ball and elevate the other way, and picks up a home run.
There is a beach ball in left field, and that's the delay here. There you go, Marcel.
That's how you stay in good with the fans. See, look, they're even clapping for him. That's how it works. Don't dare take the beach ball away from them, or you will never hear the end of it.
And so the Dodgers have been able to get to Garcia for 2. Dan Straley's final line. Drilled, right field, Stanton, and it's gone. Cody Bellinger, a solo shot. And the Marlins can't let this get any more interesting than it already has. Remember, this is a team that in this losing skid has blown 3 4-run leads. And the Dodgers have scored 6 runs here in the last 2 1/3 innings.
6 unanswered. Remember, the Marlins were up 10-0 in this ball game. Now 10-6, and still 7 outs to get.
See D. Gordon trying to get Garcia through this. Here's Grandal. David Phelps in the bullpen. (10-6) Miami.
Garcia, he is going to have to find a way to get the ball down.
High pop. Riddle out. And Riddle catches it. I don't know if Ozuna tried to call him off. But JT Riddle made the play. And the Dodgers put 3 on the board in the 7th. Miami up 10-6. From Los Angeles, Sunset Strip, Hollywood and Vine. Here tonight, the Marlins raced to a 10-0 lead, and the Dodgers have scored the last 6 runs. Ross Stripling stays in the ballgame for the Dodgers. And it's the top of the order for the Fish. 1 a.m. back home. You kids stay safe.
Get ugly.
Gordon has a couple hits, has struck out and bounced out. And a breaking ball misses up. Well, Gordon certainly ignited the Fish in the first and in the second. Singled and scored in the first. Singled, knocked in a run, stole a base in the second. And the Marlins behind now 2-0.
Marlins would love to get something going right here. Been held down. Sure, you think 10 runs is enough, but with the Dodgers coming back, if the Marlins can respond here in the 8th with a run or two, certainly will take back some of the momentum that the Dodgers have right now.
If not, it's time to text Rob Nen.
He's still here at Dodger Stadium. We need to get him back up here.
Rob Nen joined the broadcast in the 3rd and the 4th. The Marlins got 3 in the 3rd and 2 in the 4th.
Now for the Dodgers, their largest comeback this season has been 4 runs. They're down by 4 to the Giants on May 2nd. Came back and won that ball game 13-5.
Gordon off the end of the bat, flips it to center. Eibner in. Oof. Bellinger streaks in front of Eibner, makes the catch. And we check in with Jessica Blaylock. Jess?
Christian Yelich is an LA guy. Because of that, he's had a lot of friends and family at these games. Last night, he posted a photo on Instagram. It was a picture of him with some of his childhood friends and a couple of guys that he played high school baseball with. And hey, a few of them make an appearance in our next edition of Inside the Marlins. It's all about Christian Yelich. It's called The California Kid. And just a reminder, it premieres tomorrow immediately following our Marlins Live postgame show. Guys.
That looks like a scene from Entourage. Was Turtle in there?
Good group of kids. Sure they didn't start any trouble in high school or anything.
I don't see Turtle though. Johnny Drama, but no Turtle. Ball and a strike. Yelich, couple walks. Lined out hard and bounced out.
Backup slider from Stripling right there. He's been keeping this Marlins lineup in check here since entering the ball game. Retired the first 4 he's faced.
Yelich stays alive, fighting off that fastball. Just 2 games going in Major League Baseball. Arizona 9-0 in San Diego. That's bottom 9. Marlins up here 10-6. White Sox 16-1. That's a final in Seattle. Giants in 13 innings beat the Cardinals in St. Louis 3-1. Giants are getting a little bit better. Mets beat the Angels 7-5. Zach Wheeler the win. Braves beat the Nationals 5-2. Atlanta's just 4 under. Nationals, who had that great record, now are 8 over. Reds 12-8 over the Rockies. Phillies lost 6-3 to the Pirates. 2-2.
Sprays it foul. Good battle going on here.
Aha, we got it. Mike Freeman, an outfielder, did pitch the 9th inning for Seattle. Freeman gave up a run on 3 hits. So I smelled position player pitching in that game, and it worked out. Yelich swings and misses, and down he goes. Well, here comes Ozuna.
Fielder number 13, Marcell Ozuna.
Not only win big, but they also have signed a Cuban free agent outfielder, Luis Robert. No confirmation, but all reports point to that. $25 million for the Cuban free agent outfielder. He's considered the 2nd best international prospect behind Shohei Ohtani. Robert is 19, and I'll be honest, I don't know if it's Robert or Robert.
I don't know how far along his progression is, but still young enough to, as my guess would have to go through the minor leagues at least a period of time.
Ozuna in the center field. Marcell, good night tonight. He's 2 for 3 with 2 walks, and that gets Stanton to the plate. Giancarlo
Right fielder number 27
and Ross Stripling meet again.
Know if they're booing Giancarlo for last night. Stripling's out there because he's got 3 doubles tonight. A little bit of both.
Probably a little bit of both.
Impressive night, an impressive series so far. 5 for 12. And tonight, double to all fields, left, center, and right.
Three infielders on the left side. There it is. Stanton's 478-foot home run. And we told you on Thursday night he is one of only 4 in Major League history to hit a ball out of Dodger Stadium. Two 2-0. Mark McGwire, Mike Piazza, and Willie Stargell did it twice right over that roof of the pavilion. Is where Stanton's home run went. And he was doing his best to knock it out there with that swing.
He's channeling his inner 479 right there.
So 3 doubles, 3 runs driven in, and a 2-1 pitch coming from Stripling.
Big shift on for Stanton right now. Adrian Gonzalez, the only one left on the right side.
Fastball's coming up. And Stanton took a rip at it.
Well, he laid off one earlier in this sequence. Stripling convinced that he can get him out at the top of the zone.
Well, watch Grandal, see where he sets.
I think Grandal's thinking about it as well, whether he wants to do it again, and I think he's calling for it one more time.
And he got him. High fastball, Stanton strikes out. Miami leaves a runner, but leads the game 10-6. RBI Baseball 2017 returns with fast-packed pick-up and play. MLB action packed with all your favorite MLB teams, players, ballparks, and more. Get RBI Baseball today for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and mobile devices. Learn more at RBIGame.com. David Phelps. Out of Miami's bullpen.
You see Phelpsy here in the 8th inning. He's not allowed an earned run in his last 10 appearances. Just 3 hits.
Starts with a breaking ball to Adrian Gonzalez, Chris Taylor, Jock Peterson. Excuse me, pitcher spot in Peterson's place in the 7 position. And Phelps with a count, 1 ball and 1 strike. Gonzalez 0 for 3 with a couple strikeouts. Oof. Gonzalez fouls it back.
Phelpsy right now, he's got it going on. Spot putting that 96-mile-an-hour fastball just about wherever he wants. Pitches a go, nasty slider.
Trying to catch the corner, may have missed low. And it's 2-2. 10 runs, 13 hits for Miami. 6 runs, 7 hits, and 2 errors for the Dodgers. And all the runs have come in exactly that, in runs. Marlins got their 10. Dodgers then got their 6. Gonzalez swings and misses. Phelps strikes him out. 97 from David Phelps.
He's been on quite a roll.
Third baseman number 3, Chris Taylor.
Now, we talked about it yesterday. There have been some questions and even some considerations to moving Phelps into the starting rotation. Don Mattingly has maintained that if he did that, it would not be a temporary thing. He did not want to yo-yo Phelps from bullpen to rotation and then back to pen. Riddle on to first in time to get Chris Taylor. Sergio Romo.
Hitter number 15, Austin Barnes.
Austin Barnes now. Will hit for the Dodgers.
See his numbers pitch hitting this year, 250. Already does have a home run.
Barnes the start last night. A guy that is one of those hybrid guys, plays infield and can catch. Boy, Phelps looks good right now.
Yes, he does. He has for quite some time now. See how efficient he is. Typically 10, 14 pitch innings. That's even more impressive. Hardly run into any trouble over his last 10 appearances. In fact, only given up 3 hits. I just see hitters in defense mode the minute they get in the box.
And you know, that may have been one of the reasons Don Mattingly said, let's leave him in the bullpen.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. If you do commit to moving him into the rotation, which, I mean, again, I'm not going one way or the other on it. I'm just recognizing what you lose right now, which is David Phelps absolutely at his best right now this season, late in the ball game, and you're starving for wins. And I talked about getting things back under control. You know, this Dodger team has made a run. 6 runs back in this ball game. This thing is far from over. Phelpsy is kind of calmed things down a little bit here. Bottom of the 8th.
Two cutter. And the count's 3-2. Kike Hernandez is on deck. He is homered. The Dodgers have hit 3 homers tonight. Seager a 2-run shot. Bellinger and Hernandez solo shots. Miami surprisingly has hit just 1 despite having 10 runs. It's kind of been Miami's go-to for runs lately is the homer.
Well, usually when you start to snap out a losing streak or a funk that a team is in, it's something like tonight that usually happens. I've kind of been leaning along the line, Dan Straley having a tremendous performance, keeping the Dodgers in such a position that they don't even come close to scoring a run, and it buys you some time to get it done. But tonight it's been really all about the offense for the most part. And back to Dan Straley.
That one just missed. So Barnes walks.
Right fielder, number 14, Kike
Just off that
Hernandez.
outside corner. Takes that pretty confidently.
And here is Kike.
Day game tomorrow.
And Phelps all of a sudden losing a little touch and a visit from JT Realmuto. Day game tomorrow, and it feels like and sounds like, although we'll wait for Marlins Live to get the official word, that Vance Worley will face Brandon McCarthy, the veteran right-hander.
TBA's had a couple good starts for us this year.
That's true. Tom Manley would rather not have that many more TBAs, though.
TBA is a secret weapon.
To right, Stanton over and there, and he reaches up and makes the catch. David Phelps, a scoreless 8th. 10-6 Miami. Innings 1 through 5. 6 runs, 7 hits, for the Dodgers. They came late. Look at innings bottom 5 through bottom 7. Top 9 has arrived here in Los Angeles. That lively music means only one thing. That Sergio Romo has made his way to the mound. A former closer and dependable arm for the San Francisco Giants is now a Dodger, trying to find his place in the bullpen.
Well, he's had a rough go of it as a Dodger. In fact, 13 1/3 innings. He's given up 13 hits, 12 earned runs. Walks an issue as well, 8 of them. 3 home runs. The arsenal hasn't changed. He's lost a few ticks on that slider, but still throwing it about 70% of the time.
Justin Bour. Bour has an RBI single on a 1-for-4 night. He homered in each of the first 2 games of the series to run his home run total up to 10. Romo, a guy that always threw these sliders of death. And
the sliders.
Just when you thought he wasn't going to
SOD?
Yes. And just when you thought he wasn't going to throw a slider, he'd throw another slider. Yeah. And then another slider.
Well, he had that incredible ability to change it up. No 2 sliders seemed alike.
No. And once hitters would identify slider, they'd start to swing. And Romo magically would make the slider move
right,
3 feet outside.
He'd throw the up and under, and he'd throw the over the top, and then he'd throw the one around the bend, and then he'd throw the front door and then the back door.
There's
right
the
there.
back door.
Right. He was having his best success at a few extra miles per hour on that slider. Now it rolls every now and again. Giving up a few more hits than he's typically used to.
.532 major league games.
Look at that career ERA of 2.74.
He's had a really nice run. This Sergio Romo. 5'11", 185. And he strikes out Bour.
Catcher number 11, JT Realmuto.
Yeah, there you go. It's a good look at it. Over the top and down when it finally gets through the strike zone. You see just above the shoe tops.
And you know, he did pitch with the Giants last year, and he pitched pretty well. 40 appearances, a 2.64 ERA. All 9 of his previous seasons with the Giants, an All-Star in 2013. And this is where the slider kicks in against the righties. Fastball, and Realmuto pops it into right center. And it's Eibner who makes the catch. Kyle Bertlaw in Miami's bullpen. And Dietrich takes down low. Triple in the second. Who are the best Giants to play for the Dodgers? And who are the best Dodgers to play for the Giants? That liner is into the seats. Because it happens, I think, more frequently than many know. I'm getting both ends of the spectrum here.
Yeah, I don't
Juan
know.
Uribe and Rube Marquard. That one fouled back.
I think it happens a lot less than you think.
Really?
Well, at least according to the note we just received.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to drop Rube Marquard and Juan Uribe.
Yeah, you're going to have to do a little better than that.
Brian Wilson.
Brian Wilson.
Not the Beach Boy, but the reliever. Where is Brian Wilson? I mean, I envision him pitching for some team with Kenny Powers and Rojo Johnson right now.
Well, I believe he stepped away from the game for a period of time. And then I heard a hint of he was trying to make a comeback a couple years ago. And I haven't heard anything since. Sort of a knuckleball. Okay.
Well, Dusty Baker was a great Dodger and then managed the Giants.
Counts, I think.
3-2. Into right. And Dietrich has a base hit.
Shortstop number 39, JT Riddle.
Here's JT Riddle.
Dietrich. They got things going in that second inning with the triple. Picked up his second base hit right there. Used the ball pretty well tonight. JT Riddle, one of the Marlins stars. You see the bottom line right there. Solo homer, double, single, 4 RBIs. I'll tell you what, that run scoring single is impressive, and as hard as he's hit the ball tonight, I think was one of his best at-bats this year, going back to the Urias at-bat with the infield in.
So we told you how tough it is to get triples here. Only 11 last year. The Marlins in their history have never had a cycle, which is amazing in itself, especially playing in a ballpark that gave up a lot of triples.
Both ballparks.
Both ballparks for the Marlins. Riddle needs a triple to do it. He takes outside from Romo. Brett Butler, that's a good name. He was a good Giant and a good Dodger.
Yeah, I played with BB.
Dusty Baker played 1 year with the Giants and then, of course, managed them. Well, unless Eibner falls over, I don't think Riddle's going to get his triple. And Eibner stays upright. And the Marlins are done here in the ninth. Last chance for the Dodgers. It's 10-6. Baseball on Fox Sports Florida is brought to you by Southwest. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. By Jeep, get great deals on the Jeep lineup at the Jeep Spring Clearance Event. And by your South Florida Honda dealers.
You and I need to get our acts together with this, because that list is way more impressive than the list we originally started with.
That's right. 10-6 Marlins on top of the Dodgers. Kyle Bearclaw is on. Marlin fans enjoying this much more than the first 2 games of the series.
Center fielder number 50,
Brett Eibner will hit. And Bearclaw, who grew up a Giants fan up in Northern California, comes on for the night. Not a save situation. We were wondering about players that played for both the Giants and the Dodgers. Who are the best players, the most notable players? And the list is actually pretty impressive. We noted Brett Butler and Dusty Baker. Baker played just a year for the Giants and a long time for the Dodgers, but managed the Giants. Butler played almost equally for both. But there's some interesting ones. Now there's guys that have had great careers with the Dodgers and then like one season.
Right, I know that happens.
Orel Hershiser,
right,
believe it or not, finished his career with the Giants in '98, and then the reverse. Pitch to Eibner, and it's 0-2. Hershiser actually played one season with the Giants, and then came back and tried to finish with the Dodgers in 2000. Juan Marichal, great Giant, 14 years with San Francisco, a Dodger in 1975. So, look, Marichal's a Giant, Hershiser's a Dodger. Jeffrey Leonard played 1 year with the Dodgers. And then, yeah, 1 year with the Dodgers, and then the Giants for 8 years. Jeff Kent kind of did big damage with the Giants and some damage with the Dodgers.
Well played.
Terry Mulholland. Jason Schmidt. Reggie Smith. Now Reggie Smith played 1 year with the Giants, but significant years with the Dodgers. Duke Snider, who knew that in '64 he played for the Giants after all those years as a Dodger. Bouncer to third. Dietrich crossed the diamond in time. And Eibner out number 1.
Good start to the 9th inning for Kyle Bearclaw right there.
Second baseman number 26, Chase Utley.
Top of the order, Chase Utley. And then Corey Seager. So those are guys that have played for both Giants and Dodgers.
I feel much better about things. It just didn't seem right. We were a little off there for a few minutes.
So I guess, you know, if you're looking for a guy that kind of came close to cutting it in half, Brett Butler's a pretty good guy to look at. Jeff Kent, 5 years Giants, 4 years Dodgers. And anytime you can work Kenny Powers and Rojo Johnson in with Brian Wilson in the same pitching staff.
I'm telling you, those Taco Bell commercials he did were the best.
Count 2-1 to Utley. Dan Straley 5 2/3. Brad Ziegler got an out. Harley Garcia gave up a couple of homers and 3 runs. David Phelps a scoreless 8th. And now Bearclaw runs it to 3-1 on Utley.
If there's one thing that Kyle Bearclaw certainly wants to fix here, 6, almost 7 weeks through the season, just a few too many walks.
Riddle to first in time. And Bearclaw has a couple of ground ball outs to open the 9th. He needs another to finish the night and get the Marlins to tomorrow with a win.
Number 5, Corey Seager.
Phelps Marlins, outstanding job in the 8th inning. Or outstanding so far here in the 9th. Really calmed things down. Dodgers had some momentum, scoring 6 unanswered runs. 5th, 6th, and 7th.
By the way, one trade in baseball today. The Braves, without Freddie Freeman, who could miss at least a couple months, maybe more, with that fractured wrist, traded for the Cardinals' Matt Adams in exchange for a minor league infielder, Juan Yepez.
Matt Adams, good opportunity with the Atlanta Braves. Kind of had become a jack of all trades player for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Bouncer, Bohr flips, Bear Club, ball game, and the Marlins get a much needed win in a much needed fashion to bust out offensively. A strong start from Straley and a 10-6 win over the Dodgers. Jessica Blaylock getting ready for Marlins Live. It should be a much happier show tonight. Some live guests for Jessica as well. 10-6. Marlins beat the Dodgers. Stick around. We're back to Dodger Stadium after this.